All right, so we are back with another fantastic episode of We the People of Politically Correcting Podcast on the We the People Podcast Network here in the beautiful town of West Irondequoit. My co-host, as always, Lavelle Lewis.
Gia.
Austin on the ones and twos.
Oh, hello.
I actually got a friend on tonight that he had messaged me literally 20 minutes before I was about to go on air. He's like, let's link up for a drink. I said, perfect. Show up to the podcast. He didn't even question. He said, I'm coming. I'll be there.
Bad.
Ricardo Nieves. What's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, sir?
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for having the cojones.
Can I put a plug in real quick? Just want to plug in my.
Oh, where's your camera? This camera's not even on.
Stop. I'm trying to put a plug for my 43.
Go ahead. You can show the people. They won't even know what that is.
It's a liqueur from Spain and very traditional with my Puerto Rican people. They usually drink it with milk, but I like to drink it straight.
Well, everyone, on that note, get your drinks out. And let's toast to the ability for us to be able to have a drink with another person and amongst friends, have open and honest dialogue, and being able to walk away always still being friends. Salud.
Salud. Salud.
All right, the verse of the week is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I also will reject you from being priest for me. Because you have forgotten the law of your God, I also will forget your children. Knowledge, people, knowledge. That's not, oh, I heard this. It's, I dove into this. I found out for myself and made my own decision based on the facts that I have read, seen, heard, put everything together and made up my mind about. It's not a hypothesis. This is knowledge. Now you gain knowledge by actually diving into the data, looking at things from a perspective of making sure you see both sides of it. And if you can be able to say, okay, this side is going to say this and this side is going to say that, and this is where I stand, then you have knowledge on that topic. And for now, it seems like everybody just kind of has opinions, but they severely lack knowledge. And they've certainly forgot the law of God, which we're seeing that in our children today on our streets in the city of Rochester, especially in a lot of urban cities around the country. We see a lot of our children, it seems as if God has forgotten our children. Here in Rochester, we're going to jump right into it. Here in Rochester, we have, the 13-year-olds. Bring up the article with the two 13-year-olds who were caught with guns at school. Two 13-year-olds facing charges for smuggling loaded gun into Rochester school. The part that really irked me, though, that was not that long ago. That was probably like last week when that happened. Did you both hear about that? The two 13-year-olds?
They all like a blur to me. I haven't heard this one.
Doesn't seem like we're just seeing constantly teenage, this and the other when it comes to gun anything now.
It's been the same for like every week, it seems like, man.
The problem that I have is the article that came out, what was that, yesterday, today? It says, dad says daughter received death threats after reporting gun at school. So the girl that reported seeing this gun at the school, these two 13-year-olds that brought in guns to school, she reports it and she's getting death threats. She's getting threatened to get beaten up at school by her peers or killed.
For so-called snitching?
For snitching,
Okay.
right.
For snitching. Yeah.
This is the problem right here, is that if our kids can't speak up for seeing something like that, what's to say we're not going to have
Another Columbine
happen right here in Rochester?
Mhm.
Well, the first things first, the safety of that young lady, it should be the first priority all the way through, all the way up from, and let's not act, and the fact that you bring it up, I appreciate it, because you are a, city council member. So to even bring this up as a allegedly, right? As such, that takes courage, and everybody up to the mayor should be aware of this situation, because again, the safety of this young lady should be the first priority. Secondly, where are the parents of the gentlemen, the kids who are threatening this young lady? Where are their parents?
Well, see, where are the parents? It's probably
that's
one of
question
the
number
biggest
one, period.
questions, right?
Yeah, it's question number one.
Yeah.
Where are they?
at least this kid's parents, his dad is speaking up. Daniel Greathouse says his daughter Katura had told school officials about the gun at the school. As a result, 2 13-year-old boys were charged. This was on November 29th, mind you. But Katura hasn't been back to school since. She hasn't been back to school, and they refused to transfer her to another school.
Wow.
So again, I mean, where are the parents of the 13-year-old? Number one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why aren't they? They should be interviewed right now. They like Channel 10 should be knocking at their door trying to get a statement of some sort, right? Like put them on Front Street. Why not? I mean, the media wants to be in everybody else's business.
Are
right?
you okay with going after the parents when it comes to holding their kids accountable?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Who else are you gonna? I mean, who else? Who else? There's no one else's responsibility. We didn't make them.
Very true. I think that to me, it's like a slippery slope. Like, at what point do we say, can a parent just come out and say, you know, I've tried what I can. This kid is just uncontrollable.
That's a start. And then what do you need? How can
Right.
we help?
Right.
You know, what's the next step?
I
What
think that's-
resources do you need?
I think that's one of our biggest issues
Yeah.
right now, is that there's a lot of parents that will come out and say, my kid is uncontrollable. I cannot contain him or her. And that's a problem to me, is that our city doesn't have the resources for the parents to say, all right, come here to us. And if you have issues with, you know, raising a kid, which let's be honest, very honest here. We have kids having kids in our city. So
Generationally right now.
yeah.
Been going out for generations.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So we had kids that had kids who then had kids.
Yeah.
The problem that I see is that, how did we not learn from that? Like, if you know that your parents came from nothing because their parents came from nothing, and they had their kids too early, and they were born into poverty, and they never finished high school, but then you just continue the same revolving door. So then you in turn have kids at 15, 16. I'm not assuming that's what happened here, but I feel that's a big problem in our city, is that we continually know who's breaking the chain. Like, how does it take, or what does it take for someone to step in and say, look, let's break the chain in this family? Because it's in my family as well. I'm not sure how your families are, but I have very young grandmas in my family, very young grandmas. I just actually went to brunch the other day with one. She's 35 years old, a grandma.
I just had my 5th grandkid 2 weeks ago. I'm
That's
47.
but still your
I
fifth grandkid. That's
yeah.
Well, I will say I do know a couple of gentlemen who do work within, you know, these with kids, troubled kids, right?
Mhm.
And not every troubled kid comes from a bad home, right? There are a lot of kids who have parents who, just like you said, they're out of options, right? So once we find out, all right, where did you go? Where did you turn? Who turned you down? Who turned you away? Who put their hands up and say, there's nothing I can do? We have to go to them next, right? Because I think that next step, that's the system. The only place to go is to the system. Once
Right.
you know,
you have two options at that point.
yeah.
Your child is either going to die or they're going to jail.
Well, because they
Mhm.
become a product of the environment, of their own environment. They can be raised well all they want. You can do the best you can for a kid, but once you send them out to school, that's where they start to get influenced by other kids or the neighborhood, you know,
Or the teacher.
or the teacher.
Mhm.
I am a firm believer that I still think that parents should be penalized, the bad ones, in some kind of way, especially the ones that get government assistance.
Okay.
I-
Penalize how? How
Yeah.
can we penalize a parent for their kids' mistakes? Your thoughts?
You know what? I think I don't know.
I mean, other cities
It's
do
a hot
have.
topic. You know, I remember in the past people were talking about take away their benefits, or, you know, suspend their benefits for a period of time, or, you know, have the parents do time and stuff if they do a crime or something. I mean, there's got to be a breaking point, because right now we're like on high red alert, in my opinion, with this generation. It's bad.
Oh, big time.
These kids have zero respect for human life.
They don't respect their own life.
Yeah, no.
It would be very hard to reach a solution for, you know, the punishment on the parents, because again, not every parent is the one that just don't give two shits about what's
Right.
going on.
And that's the tough part.
That's
How-
the tough part,
That's the tough
right?
part,
But
right.
I do think that once those, you know, once you've looked into the situation, and like, okay, you can tell from a parent that don't care versus a parent that does care about their child. And then once you reach your limit of getting information from a parent, or you know what I mean, like you're either going to get cooperation or not. Right. So the parents that's not, whatever happens to your kid, you have no, at that point, you pretty much surrendered your rights to that child, and he is now a product of the system.
Right.
And within that system, I'm pretty sure that there's so many shelters and all these other places that we have for these children. But I do strongly believe once they reach that step, when they're in that system, that incarceration system, the resources that these kids have, or they should be superior that they're trying to extend to grown ass men who's already within the system of correctional facility. I think these kids who reach that level, there has to be something like the highest level of mental health experts, highest level of teachers, educators. Once, like, it's got to be borderline boot camp.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I don't care what you say.
We should get more resources. I'll tell you, when I got a job at Ibero years ago, and my first assignment was, she goes, I need you to I want to put a resource book for all the agencies and programs that are here in Rochester. I said, I'll have it to you by the end of the day. Yeah, my ass. It took me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, I realized that we had the most programs per capita in the entire country.
Yeah.
That book was like this. That binder was thick.
Yeah.
Thick.
Well,
from the small ones like Matthew's Closet all the way to like the American Heart Association. Like huge. There was so many of them.
And you know who pays for that?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
well, can we do this though, to where when we hear politicians always want to pile on more programs,
New
programs, and stop using these talking points that's score them political points within the same people who want to woe is me and point the finger at the system to solve the problem. No. Them days they gotta stop. We gotta stop with that shit because it's not working. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of programs out there. So let's go like with a fine-tooth comb, look at every single program that we got and see, okay, what the heck have you been doing?
Hold them accountable.
And hold them accountable. You got to go there first.
You know what's crazy to me is that you have multi-millionaires and billionaires, the wealthiest of the wealthy, who will send their sons to what do you call those schools? Damn it. We call those boarding schools.
Boarding schools, yeah.
They'll send their kids to boarding schools because they know that taking them out of an environment, with people that are like-minded like that, they're going to put them into this school where they will come out prepared to rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
So why
they pay
don't
top dollar for that too?
Right. They pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
So we could create something that's like that, where we can say these kids were once trouble. They were once taking away from the community. Now they are prepared to be leaders in the community.
Yeah.
And
I don't think the system's set up for that though. I think the system's set up for failure.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
First of all,
right show for that one.
I'm gonna tell you right now, most of the prisons in America are privately owned.
Yeah.
They get money from the federal government to house inmates.
Mhm.
They're privately owned institutions,
Oh,
and they're not built to rehabilitate anyone.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
Nothing like that.
That's
so
what
they
I said.
want inmates.
Hell yeah.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
that's how they make money.
That system,
Clinton.
let that system be. You get what you deserve if your ass can't get your shit together after. I mean, I'm sorry. If you're over the age of 21, from some point in time, there has to be that realization that, I got to get my shit together. Right. Period. Because if you keep going down that road and you want to be a fucking gangster, you want to sell drugs, you don't want to get your shit, then that's the life that you chose. But these kids is the reverse opposite. That should not be privatized. That if the public wants to really say they care about anything, because it seems like our public schools is not doing a good job. They're pretty much they're setting them up to where these kids are rejecting what they're teaching them. We all know that the shit they're teaching them is garbage.
It's trash.
Like garbage. So if I am a kid at that age, I'm going to get bored because this is not real knowledge. You're not teaching real knowledge with
American history is completely wrong.
Bullshit.
It's all messed up.
Yeah.
They're teaching lies.
Yeah.
And they're teaching these kids to be functional consumers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
To say yes, say no, go to work, do this, do that. I mean, they don't even teach financial literacy at all.
No.
But they'll teach
None of that
about
stuff.
trying to save the environment.
Oh.
That's what boggles my mind.
Or you can cut your nuts off.
Or they'll teach you that gender is fluid. You can teach all that, but you can't. So you have the capacity as a teacher to teach about mental issues that are far beyond the scope of what you went to school for, but you can't teach how to sign a checkbook or how to
Learn what credit is.
write it out, learn what
Right.
credit is, learn
Yeah.
what personal finance is, learn what happens with compound interesting, on compound interest when you put money away as a teenager starting your job, and then when you go as a career, like it's
It
crazy.
needs to change.
Well, quite as kept, but teachers don't know that either.
No. Bring up the 12, the young kids that were shot over the weekend here. So we talked about the 13-year-old with guns. You see the what was it? 12. Hold on. Was it 12, 16, and 20-year-old that were shot at a celebration of life?
Yeah.
At a celebration of life, they were shot at.
Mm.
And one of the our community leader says the gangs have taken over. Yes. It's Ben.
I wouldn't say that though. I wouldn't openly admit that. There's
You
this
wouldn't,
hasn't
or
been-
you wouldn't as an
I
elected
wouldn't
official.
I wouldn't no as an elected official. No, I would not have said that.
Okay.
I think that displays
That's a poor
poor
excuse.
leadership, and it also lets them know that they are in control. You pretty much just showed your hand, right? And at the same time, you put yourself in a bad spot. And I'm hoping this individual wasn't the one that was talking about defunding anything
This individual was talking about getting the
before this happened.
no, bringing the military in.
What, like martial law?
Okay, again,
People don't want that, man.
I don't-
I'm telling you
That
right
was the
now,
exact
people don't want
conversation I
that.
had
All
with
right.
her. I said,
So-
that's not what
People
you
don't
want.
want
all right again. Okay, you want the federal government to come in and clean up your streets. Do you know that a federal government coming in to police anybody is pretty much tyranny? Meaning, the federal government is not going to care who is who, what is what. What they say is law. And if
That's
they
it.
say you can't go there, you can't go
You
there.
want to see military trucks going up and down your street, and you want to feel like you're
No,
in
I
some
do
kind of
not.
war zone.
No, I do
And
not.
people don't understand. That's damn near irreversible. Once that happens,
Once it happens, where is it going?
yeah. And even if they leave, they're gonna leave a lot of people mentally messed up.
Yo, we gotta
Like
get these people out of
PTSD
office,
messed up.
man.
Well, look at the let's watch the video of the mother of the 12-year-old speak about the issue. This is sad. Oh, we need the audio for it.
That's scary, man. Yo, we need the military, man. We don't know what to do. Too busy pointing out systemic racism. Be talking to the police chiefs about
I'm really hurt.
what
the fact that,
resources do you need.
I'm hurt the fact she's wearing a mask outside. To be honest.
No, they're coming back.
Yeah. Oh, I went to the store today. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I swear every person was wearing a mask. I thought I was in somewhere in La
outbreak
La Land
movie.
or something. I was like, what the heck is
that's
going on here?
hypochondria, man. That's literally mental.
You know, they had real evidence that back when the Spanish flu was happening, they were wearing masks. That a doctor proved that the mask actually made you more sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
They damaged your lungs.
Don't tell them nothing.
Allegedly.
They hang on. Everyone wore masks back in 1919 or
Yeah.
12 or
studies
whatever
on
it
that.
was. Everyone wore a
And
mask
don't
back
get me
then.
start talking on fluoride either.
Oh, you came to the right place, man. You better.
Sorry, it doesn't look like
Those
It's not
studies,
gonna wanna work.
those studies
Speaking
came
of
right from the
minds.
U of R.
Well, the mom was
Speaking
in tears. I mean, it was sad to see when you see someone who was holding her daughter and her daughter was telling her mom, please, I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Wow.
It was heartbreaking. That's what I wanted to show is that
Mhm.
these parents out here who are just simply trying to raise their kids in the city and they're having to deal with their kids being shot at a celebration of life. It wasn't like a vigil that people were having during COVID where they're smoking and drinking and partying in the street.
right.
This was a legitimate, just
Well, remember years ago when there was that shootout, that drive-by at the Boys and Girls Club.
yeah.
That was a positive event.
It was a positive event, and what? How many people died? It was a mass shooting.
Yeah.
It was a mass shooting.
This should be
And
considered a mass
That's
shooting.
a mass shooting
This
as well.
should be
That's
considered
mass shooting.
a terrorist threat. This is
What
a
was-
domestic
what's
terrorist
it-
threat.
I read the statistics not so long ago that in 2021, how many mass shootings were there? It was like over 200 in the country, something like that. And you don't even read or hear about them.
Nope.
Oh, there's just not enough time to talk about everything.
Well, because
And the only reason we know so much that we know now is because of the internet.
Yeah.
the mass shootings most of them were done in urban settings.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of people of color that were shooting
Mhm.
in mass shooting.
doing the
It
shooting.
wasn't the same as what people think of when Columbine or the guy that watched The Matrix and then went into the movie theater and start shooting the place up. It wasn't something as crazy as that. It's just stuff like
the
that, or
the Batman one, right?
the Batman. Yeah, I'm sorry, the Batman one.
Gotcha.
And and where that after hours party, if they shoot more than a certain amount of people, if a certain amount of people get shot, that's considered a.
I don't
mass
understand
shooting.
how these kids think that going to an after party is the safest thing to do right now.
They don't care. They don't care.
They're not
I don't even
thinking-
go
they're
to
not
parties.
thinking-
No,
thinking
listen,
about
this
that.
is a family party. Don't even think
not
about
thinking
environment.
about
It better be a
inviting me.
family party in a nice area
Setting.
and be done by like 10, 11
Yeah. I
at the
just
latest.
no.
But at the same time, the parents that are in responsible for these kids are allowing it.
Yeah, they are allowing it.
Or they don't know, because there's some kids that
These
just
kids are
don't
slick
care.
too.
Yeah, these kids,
Kids
will
are
jump
the
out the
biggest,
fucking window.
best liars, but little do they know that the
Yeah.
parents wrote the book on lies. But I think parents need to be a little bit more conscientious of what these kids are capable of doing.
No, you know who wrote the book on lies? The Satanic Club, after school Satanic Club are popping up all over the country now. After school Satanic clubs.
Oh,
This
boy.
is great.
It's popped up in like 2 places. All
No,
over the country.
it was more than 2 places. Don't-
More than one is enough.
Stop gaslighting.
Right.
This,
More than one is enough.
this whole thing seems like gaslighting to me personally.
Well, it says join an environment free from threats of eternal damnation. Right?
This is a
that's on
flyer?
the-
Is this a flyer or like some kind of posting or
Who-
something?
it is for
Ooh.
parent permission slip. So on the parent permission
What?
slip,
The question is, who is it gaslighting? Who's getting gaslit?
so it says the Satanic Temple is a non-theistic religion. First of all, I'm pretty sure Austin was part of this when he went to school.
I am non-theistic, yes.
that views Satan as a literary figure
Right.
who represents a metamorphical construct of rejecting tyranny and championing the human mind and spirit.
Mm.
After School Satan Club does not attempt to convert children to any religious ideology. Instead, the Satanic Temple supports children to think for themselves. All after-school Satan clubs are based on activities centered around these 7 fundamental tenets and emphasize a scientific, rationalist, non-superstitious worldview.
Look at the acronym. ASS.
Nice. Good one.
Good, Paul. Good, Paul, on that one. This is what's happening. I mean, this is
So
California, Ohio, Virginia is where these 3 in the past week have popped up.
Well, let me ask Austin,
Yeah.
because when you see
Go for it.
Our
Satan-
resident liberal.
right,
yeah, resident
and
liberalism.
atheists
Satanists.
at the same time, do you, like, if you see stuff about God, when you see stuff like this about the devil, do you kind of see it as the same? Like, it's
Yeah. So yes, this specifically. Like when I saw that Jose sent me this, I did some research and saw like the California school that accepted this as a thing also offers a good news. That's like the title of it, good news, and it's a Christian club.
That was my big thing was if we're going to look, this is on the parents.
Yeah, right,
100%
right,
to
right.
allow their kids to go to this.
Right.
As you can see, there is a flyer that says you need parental permission to go. Now,
And this is like this specific club sounds like Anton LaVey Satanism. Do you remember that
I'm
book?
sorry, what?
Anton LaVey, he wrote the Satanic Bible in the 60s, I think.
yeah.
I pay no attention to
Sounds
that.
familiar.
And
Okay.
guy.
basically, like you said, it's not actually like it's not like Hail Satan. Like
I didn't say that. I was reading it.
right, but no,
I
like,
believe it is Hail Satan.
No. What it is like Satan as a metaphor. Like basically that like Satan as represents like the id or like people's innate like instincts and desires.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Rather than as like an actual like guy with horns who's like ha
All right, fine. Let's go with that. Satan still would resemble selfishness and immediate gratification.
So yes, actually, so I don't hold to Anton LaVey Satanism.
Okay.
Because it kind of like, are you familiar with Ayn Rand?
No.
Do you know who that is? She wrote like The Fountainhead and stuff, and basically that was the core concept of her work was like selfishness as good, and that human or like people should be in only for themselves. It's a
I should probably read those only so I can see what I'm debating against, because there's in no way, shape, or form could I ever accept that. I can one way I could accept that would be that from the movie, what was the movie? Wall Street, when he said greed is good, right?
Yes, that's a very Ayn Rand.
Okay, where he says greed is good,
worldview.
and the way you can potentially see that is if your greed leads to more productivity and allows for higher growth and others around you to be lifted up as well.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. As long as you have a mental game that your greed will lead to a positive, fine. Okay, I
Well,
can agree
that's-
to that.
Yeah, that's the basic idea, is that like selfish pursuits kind of lend itself to ambition and like creativity.
hmm
And so it does kind of like a
But you don't need you can be creative and ambitious without being selfish or thinking about immediate gratification. That's my whole thing is
Mhm.
yeah. By the way, I'm not saying I agree with like
no, that's
this
fine. This is the
philosophy.
conversation. This is all
yeah,
about this is what the
It's
podcast
funny
is about,
because
right?
I tell when I talk to people, you know, when they come to me all the time and they talk to me, hey man, you're doing really good. I want to know, you know, this and all that. And I tell them the first thing, you know, first things first, get out of your own way. That's rule number one. All right.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid to be selfish. You know, put yourself first in a lot of things, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can take care of no one.
Mhm.
So my selfishness is in a more, I like to think a more positive way, not like whatever's there. But I tell people I'm very selfish. I'm selfish, and I
Mhm.
noticed that the moment I started putting myself first, not before God, but before like even my family. Like sometimes I just had to put other things to the side that weren't conducive enough for me to help me with my success. I had to start thinking more for myself.
Mhm.
What am I gonna do?
Right.
What is my next step? What do I need to do over here to make this happen? What is my next chess move?
Yeah.
So that's my way of saying it's time for me to be selfish. I'm at that age now. My kids are grown. I have my 5th grandchild. Now it's time for me. It's time for me. So I tell people, don't be afraid to be selfish. But I like to, you know, deliver that in a more positive way.
I think that that's a great mentality if you know that you're going to the like my route is I can't fill other people's cups unless my cup runneth over, right?
Right.
So I have to make sure that in order to give back, like I'm teaming up with Jeffrey this Saturday and Taste Bahamas for a toy drive. I'm also involved in another toy drive for Cameron Ministries that our business is doing on the side of that. We can't do these toy drives and we can't donate more money and we can't help these kids with the pumpkins that I do every October and the turkeys that we do every November. I'm not able to do that unless I'm doing well in business. And sometimes I have to say that's not conducive to me growing my business. If I can't grow my business, then I can't give back,
Right.
because I can't rely on others to do what I know that I want to do, which is I want to make more money so I can give back more money. I'm not saying I'm taking that. I hate that term giving back, because I didn't take anything.
Right.
I didn't take anything from you. I didn't steal anything
These
from
are
you.
reparations.
Right.
You are just
It's
giving.
just I'm helping others.
Yeah.
I'm uplifting others because I remember when I was a kid, you know, we had a box that was randomly dropped off at our house with gifts in it for Christmas because we just didn't have money for Christmas toys that year. And we had the same year we had a box of Thanksgiving.
It's
food.
more like paying it forward.
It's because I want those kids out there that I know exactly how they feel. And I know how the parents feel. A lot of those parents out there, they just want their kids to feel normal. And not providing a Thanksgiving meal or not having, you know, pretty decent toys to give, not dollar store toys to give on, you know, on Christmas, being able to allow them to feel normal for a day is huge for a parent. And if they're not able to provide that just because of whatever reason, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be that they messed up somehow. It could be a really bad turn of events in their life. And if we can help that, then let's help that. But I can't expect that from other people.
No.
Right.
So I have to, on that same step, I have to be selfish because I just don't trust other people to think the same way I do or live the same way I do so that they can give to those.
And
who
it
are in
feels
need.
good too. I
It
got a
does.
friend of mine, Julio. He every year up until COVID, he was going to a women's shelter and he was cooking for them for Thanksgiving. And he would bring his girlfriend at the time, his daughter, and then I jumped in the last time he was able to do it, and COVID shut it all down. But it felt good, man. It was cool because, you know, in this women's shelter, they have their little kids too there.
Right.
So
They sure
it was
do.
cool for Thanksgiving to do that. And
Yep.
and they were grateful. I mean, just seeing them and just being in that
Just
shelter,
feeling normal
it felt
because
good.
that's a good meal. Like I went
yeah,
with
yeah.
Taste Bahamas for Easter dinner there,
Yeah.
and just again, it just allowing them to feel normal. Like they're trying. There's people out there that are trying in the city, and they're
legit trying, yeah.
hurting.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
if I can,
But they deserve the goodness though, right? And
the goodness that God calls
right,
on us, to do.
right. And then the just going to the topic, after school, Satan, like is
Well-
that is that a good thing? Like, and you mentioned the guy
yes,
Michael the
Anton
guy-
LaVey.
Oh, okay, yeah. But do you know the guy Michael Aquino then? Because he's a known Satan worshiper, and he was part of our national defense team.
Well, so can I take a second and maybe read out the 7 tenets?
Sure, go ahead.
This-
Because
these
it said it, but it didn't actually say what the
right.
tenets
So
are,
let's
so go
go
ahead.
through them and see if you actually like disagree with them.
Mhm.
All right. Number 1, one should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. That's the first tenet.
That makes sense.
What is
Right.
reason based on though?
I personally I would take it to mean like assuming that you can and it is within your means.
Okay.
That's how I read that. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not super deep into the lore of like Anton LaVey Satanism.
Gotcha. I see reason as you have to have like a moral ground there.
Well, wait, before we even go further, right, with
Yeah,
these reasons, let's all agree that this is coming from an individual and not some like long lost historic
context.
No, so,
context of
this seems to
spiritual
be-
information from someone that's been passing it
It's
down.
not the hidden scrolls of
Yeah, like this has a start date of like
Right.
19 something, not
Well, everything has a start date if you go back.
yeah,
far
but 19 something and not 2000 BC.
enough. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
continue.
But
Second one.
it seems to be the like core of this, like these clubs, the way
Okay.
you
Yeah.
described it, and specifically they called the 7 tenets. So I'm going
Right.
to assume this is the basis that they're going on.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Number 2, the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions.
No.
Okay.
No.
Right. I'm going to agree with you. Laws and institutions are in place for a reason.
Mhm.
Yes.
And like, we don't want vigilantism.
That I think that speaks to the need for chaos, right?
Mm.
Chaos is definitely opposite of order, right? So again, this is the opposite of everything that's within the Bible is duality, right? So that's the good side of this is they
Well,
like
also,
chaos.
I don't think we should be seeking justice. We can
Mhm.
want justice,
You can want justice, right?
but we're not going to go out there like the Boondock Saints and start killing people that are,
Popping, yeah.
Right.
you know,
Okay.
But people love them in movies, man.
it is a great movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Not the second one. The second one
The
sucks.
second one's
All right,
but the
so-
first one was dope.
All right.
Look, when we have
So we
a
disagree on number 2.
I'd watch a movie with a satanist like protagonist.
They're always the best ones.
Yeah.
man.
All right, number 3. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone.
What does that mean?
That means you yourself have jurisdiction over your own body. No one else can decide what you do.
Well, I believe that now. I don't need to. go
Well,
to that
that's why
damn
they got
class.
abortion rights.
right. Well, yeah.
It's fine.
Fine.
That's
But I do believe this is a temple of God.
Yeah. So again, but that's what
So no-
abortion is.
This is
like
why I never
that
got the
one.
jab.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let someone else dictate
has
that.
the,
There you go.
Yeah, well, I think under Satanism they also agree. Like no one else can decide what to do
We're
with your body.
Fine.
Good.
All right. We'll go with that.
Number 4.
Wait. Didn't the abortion thing?
Yeah, what's
up? I'm not that keen to watch. I know the Wade versus Roe thing got
Mhm.
reversed, so that means that
Mhm.
abortion is illegal now.
No, it means it
No,
goes back
no,
to the states.
So like
It's
in
back
New
to the
York,
States.
in New York, nothing changed.
So the states
Um,
decide if it's
Right.
legal or not.
There are now states where it is illegal, but not it.
But if you still want one, you could just travel to the next state.
Exactly.
Yes.
The hell was the whole purpose?
Because the federal government
yeah.
overreached. That
Right.
wasn't there wasn't a constitutional right in the Constitution.
Right.
So the federal government overreached. If it's
So
not
how many states right
outlined-
now have illegal? Is it illegal in?
Is it illegal?
Yeah.
I think 15.
I was gonna say 13 or 15, not very
Oh
many.
wow. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can go to really any state
No.
bordering your state and you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
just go to a blue state. You'll be fine.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Or just go to Mexico, right?
I mean, the overall request and push the need for the possibility of deading another human being is kind of satanic, if you ask me.
All right.
That's just my
we
opinion.
can get into abortion another time. Let's
I'm
keep-
just saying. I
keep
just,
going.
We will have
just
to have
speak to the
somebody-
just
I
speak
would
to
love
the,
to have
the
someone on
conversation.
that's like from Planned Parenthood and another one that's from like a religious
Ooh.
background and really having that
Oh, man,
So
conversation.
that'd
you know,
be a
you gotta
deep
have
one
like
right
you gotta
there.
have there's some-
Aisha
oh, you
Kreutz.
can, oh yeah, you can have some
Although-
people in
Aisha
there.
Kreutz.
Just putting my own 2 cents on this. Like, I don't know that those debates ever actually lead anywhere.
No, absolutely
because
not.
they come from just a place of different core values.
Right, but I think that there's people who are on the fence who kind of do want to feel one way or the other.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's a woman's choice.
Yeah.
It's a woman. Is your body. Is your choice.
But California has it where the woman can kill the baby after 30 days. Like,
But that's
they can have the baby,
so.
And then
and then 30
baby.
days
That's
later you
still an
can dead the
abortion.
baby.
Wait,
So-
after it's born.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you decide I don't want to raise
never
it.
happens.
Yes.
Dead.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one
Has that
you
been around for a
now,
while?
Hold on.
It's
You
been out for a while.
can't. You can't shoot. Like if you have a healthy baby, you can't choose to kill it within 30 days.
Well, who determines if it's healthy?
like basically the only time when that would be viable is if like the baby was on like
And,
was about to die like anyway.
but I want to
Then let it.
But also I do want to state though, like, all right, if we can pull that right and like really
Right.
nitpick that down
Are
to
you-
that, we can do the same for as far as making a decision having to abort. Period. Right. I'm willing to think that the having that right, my body, my choice. They're trying to protect what happens to them. Right. So if I have this baby, right, I may lose my life, and my choice to abort the baby to save my life, that's my choice.
But there's doctors that say that's not actual fact.
That's not right. So that's where the argument and the conversation needs to have,
right.
because then it does get into the spiritual side of it, where again you have the individuals who wants to protect the life, right?
Mhm.
The folks who's fighting for the life, they're fighting for that, and then the person that's in charge of that life is the one who's the vessel carrying that baby. So you, and we understand you, it's that baby's inside of you, but you're choosing what happens to the life of that individual. So at that point, do
That
you
human being.
that human being,
Yeah.
right? At what point does the baby itself becomes that human? So
I do agree that after
Right.
a certain
It's a-
trimester, all bets
right,
are
but
off.
then
So-
again, you're setting yourself up to like so.
And also, we are
it's
four
my
men
body, my-
talking about this.
right, yeah,
I just want to make
okay,
sure
so-
everyone realizes that we
and
are fully
right.
aware of that.
And I'm just finish up.
Go ahead.
So the whole, all right, so my body, my choice. At what point does it become your choice, and no longer? When does that expire? Right at the so it's like it's your choice, but not after 3 months.
So, well, 9 out of 10 abortions are within the first trimester.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
that's,
what I'm saying.
like so like you go to like that California law as though it's like
I'm so
common, and
baffled
it's
about
not.
that. My mouth is so dry.
But remember what we
and-
deemed as a
of-
very small proportion of people 10 years ago in other things.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit higher proportion
And so and then
because it's been normalized.
well, you get that other 10% that's after the first trimester, and most of those are for medical reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so rare for a woman to choose to have an abortion after the first trimester for anything besides medical.
well, that's
reasons.
what Senator
Right.
Biden used to be for. Rare,
Yeah, safe, legal, and rare.
rare,
Mhm.
safe,
That-
legal, and rare.
Which I stand by. Like that's my
But
I think that's a good middle ground. I think that
Yeah.
look, because I may not be for, but I would never be able to carry a baby because I am a man.
Mhm.
We're about to get canceled because we just said that.
I'm glad. I was confused too, so I'm glad you put that in the record.
Right. Well,
Yo,
they have butt babies now.
Huh?
They have butt babies now for men.
Yo, they can't
Go
wait.
to the next tenant.
Yeah,
we're
all
jumping
right,
into-
all right,
we're talking about Satanism
I
here.
know.
Yeah,
man.
you're-
all right. Number 4. Here we go. The freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own.
Okay.
Dang.
Can you break that down real quick for me in English? 'Cause
Yeah.
I interpreted it one way. I want to make sure I understand
so-
that rule.
The freedoms of others should be respected, right? So that's
Yeah, I get that. I
Right.
get that.
including the freedom to offend. So you have the right to say something that someone else disagrees with.
That they don't
Th-
like. That
that's They are
like
offended
you call
by.
me if you were to call me a pussy, I'm offended. How dare you call me that?
Right. If you try
Okay.
to enact like
Like it's
some sort of law or something to restrict that, you are also restricting your own freedom.
I think people at least. I think people need to be more honest with each other, first of all. But if you're using insults to just belittle someone, that's not the same thing we're talking about here. You're
That's
just
just
doing it.
bullying.
You're just
Right.
doing like sticks and stones, right?
Right.
But if you're trying to give an opinion to someone, like you're really a pussy or something, or
Mhm.
you know, or I give you my real feedback. Like Julio says it all the time. My friend goes, if you ever want honest opinion, go to me.
Right.
Because I would literally tell you exactly about, like, I'm a musician, I do music, and like I'll tell you, you know, how I feel about it, or cooking, or whatever it is. I'll give you my honest
The
opinion.
spaghetti sucks.
Yeah. I'll tell you like salty. I'm like, no, I'll tell you, but some people, they just take it really hard.
Yeah.
They really don't
And that's
don't
on a
ask for
very-
the opinion then.
That's on a very basic level. There's people out there that say, "How dare you call me a man?" while they have a full grown
Right.
beard, a beer belly, and half shirt on with a wig and makeup on. How dare you call me a man? All right, dude. Like,
Yeah, how far down this rabbit hole you gonna
Yeah.
take me, dog?
so
Like,
I can go with that tenant on that
Alright.
one.
Oh, dude, real quick.
But I don't think that's Satanism, though. I don't think that's a
What?
Satan thing.
I mean,
this is
I-
their
a lot-
bylaws, right?
A lot
This
of
is-
religions have overlapping things.
so far,
You
this
know,
is
treat others as you want to be treated is
Okay.
in like 25 different religions.
Fine.
You know,
I know someone
But
almost
this isn't a
lost
religion. It says it's not a religion.
that's true. As belief systems. There we
Fine.
go.
I know someone almost lost their job because they called they identified, I think he called her the person a man, and the person was like, no, I'm a woman, and whatever it is, and they called the job, and the person almost got
Yeah.
lost their job.
Oh yeah.
They take it serious. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's exactly what that tenet is about right there. You can be offended. Matt Gaetz, he's a Republican. I don't know if he's is he representative or a senator, but he basically called all these women who are protesting the Roe versus Wade like fat and ugly. And the reporter was like, well, what would you say to those who say that they're offended by what you just said? He said, be offended.
Oh. He's part Satanist.
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 Satanists
yeah,
are everywhere.
He's
Now
a
they're multiplying.
Republican, so
I don't
he's
even
a
know what I just
Satanist.
walked into today. Hey, come on down to the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Satan schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Number 5.
We're educating people on Satanism
It's
here.
Satanism today.
Beliefs should conform to
Oh
one's-
shit! Sorry,
Oh, we got someone?
Billy came by.
Oh, what's up, man? Hey, how you
man?
doing?
Oh, he got ice for you.
Oh, whew, I was about to say that
Oh,
looked
yo.
like something else for 2
Yeah,
seconds.
whoa, we're on camera.
Whoa. You can't be bringing in no bags like that, bro.
Got ice.
Jose was almost canceled for 2 seconds.
We're going over Satanism in the schools. Yeah,
Yeah,
Did
man,
you
we
text her to
getting
bring
deep.
this? You're the man.
See, I knew
You are the man.
because he
Man, anybody? Here you go.
Yeah,
I got enough I want.
I mean, yeah, I'll take some of that.
Billy had invited me and the wife to go out with him and his wife, and I was like, I got my podcast tonight. He's like, oh, well, maybe we'll stop by if we have some time. I said, stop by,
Oh, yeah.
stop by.
bring the ice.
If you got ice, right?
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
ice, bring a little bag of ice.
Johnny in the spot.
Billy, if you haven't recognized Billy Magar
What up,
from
bro?
what 3 weeks ago, 4
What's
weeks
up?
ago, when you came on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
you're
We
gonna have
went
to pour him some of that.
the,
I bet he
the
hasn't had
auction,
No.
too.
No.
He's like, no.
We were all at the auction together that day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we went in.
That was fun.
We
The
took
guys
a,
went-
Yeah, we were all at the auction.
Yeah, we took that entourage picture with the overlook of the bay.
Yeah. Oh man, we're so cool.
We was
Yeah, we are.
entourage. in it
We've
that
always-
day.
I wish I would have won something though, man. I just wanted to
Me
win
too.
one. Then
We'll
just-
do it
Yeah.
again.
Oh, definitely do
We
it
will.
again.
Do it again.
Tenant number 5, are we on? What are we on here?
Taking the mic back.
Now, are these
Oh,
the
yeah,
rules to this class,
Alright.
this after school program? These are the rules that we're
No,
going
no,
through?
these
So
are
these
just
are-
what involved with Satan.
Yeah.
Just like their
They said
10
they would.
commandments.
Right. They said they would.
bylaws or something.
Kind of.
Their tenets, their belief, their
right. Their
mission statement.
Yeah.
If you may.
rules
Okay.
to live by.
Okay, sure.
All right. Number 5. Beliefs should
How
conform.
many of these are there, by the way?
7.
Okay, we're almost there.
We're almost there. Yeah. Oh, we're
Well,
going
and
through it.
when we get, I do want you to look up this this gentleman, Michael Aquino.
Okay.
He is he's with the U.S. Army.
All right.
And I
All
want to ask your opinion about him, huh?
I said, who?
right. We'll
It's an
get
army thing.
Oh,
5 and
I
I'll
was-
bring him
Yeah,
up.
see, you don't know
your
anything about that.
hoorah, but
No,
that's
no,
hoorah.
that's Marines.
That's Marines. I know. I was like,
All right.
what? I never
Number
heard that.
5. Beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs.
No.
Okay.
Can you interpret that again?
All right, sure. So you shouldn't your belief should be based on your scientific understanding of things,
Mm.
and you
Your
should
own scientific understanding of things.
do your best scientific
Right.
understanding
So
of
for
things.
those who said that the world was flat,
Flat.
right,
and that the sun revolved around the earth, then
but
Satanism says,
That's okay.
fuck them. You're
Well,
right.
You're right.
you should take the next part is you should take care to never distort scientific facts to fit your beliefs. So in that example,
Okay.
the people who said it was flat did it based off of whatever religious texts or things they had that said the earth was flat.
I don't think the Bible says the earth is flat.
I didn't say the
Just
Bible.
want to put that in there.
Yeah. There were other
Religions that
yeah,
are
yeah,
just
that
not.
are flat. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
So don't
And
distort
that's-
it to make it so that,
right.
hey, I'm right, you're wrong.
Well,
Right,
didn't
yeah.
didn't that last words of the Bible say anyone that changes the words of his Bible? You shouldn't change the words of the Bible. They're the very last words of the Bible that you should not. No one should change the words of the Bible.
Sure.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, look at the last words of the Bible.
I will.
Yeah, it says no one should. And mind you, it's been changed.
Ah, yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was the last one?
I'm sorry.
All right.
What is the last one? And then we're gonna swing the thing around.
All right. All right,
this
number
tastes so much better
number
ice.
6.
Oh,
Peop-
not the last one.
Yeah. We'll go through them quick. People are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused.
Okay.
So wait a minute. So if you kill someone, you have a right to change. Make it better.
You have the responsibility to do all you can
To
make
turn
it
yourself
better.
in.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
that's-
not saying you're free from consequence. It's
I feel like
saying
there's
you
things
should
in there that-
atone for any mistake you do.
I feel like there's things in there, tenets in there that they try and make it so that it's legitimizing their religion.
These 7 rules. This is so far.
Yeah.
They seem like they have a lot of loopholes.
Yep.
It's just this was gonna.
Seventh one, because you can't deny
Yeah.
that one.
Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word.
Just to draw you in.
Yeah.
Just to pull you in.
Yep.
Just the okey doke.
That's kind of like the C rule number 1.
Yeah. Well,
tenets.
before you get the mic, pass the mic. I
Sorry,
just want to see how you feel about like
Yeah, let me look up this guy.
okay, Michael Angelo Aquino. He is a member of the Temple of Set.
Cool.
AKINO.
AQUINO.
Way off. A Hispanic?
The Egyptian god Set. What is it? A son of-
Temple of Set.
Yep. So it's the Temple Set established in the United States, 1975, by Michael Aquino, an American political scientist, military officer, and high-ranking member of Anton LaVey's Church of Satan. This guy is a high-ranking official. Now, knowing, the other side of this, right? Okay, I'm pretty sure you trust, military personnel who are Christian. Do you feel the same way?
I don't know that.
Okay, I would say trust, but I would say you would be secure with their ability to lead the country. You would have,
Yeah.
you would assume that
I would say there's
best.
enough about Christianity that I disagree with
Mhm.
that, and then enough about the Anton LaVey's Church of Satan that I disagree with that. Either one is neither one really would affect my opinion of.
But them
Uh,
holding a position of authority within the U.S. government,
Yeah.
do you still feel the same way?
Yeah.
Like this guy right here is, if you pull up a picture
based,
of him.
based off the little that I just read of this guy.
Well, yeah, just off of that's who he belongs to, but just pull up a picture of him. If
You want him to
can.
base an entire opinion?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm just saying, just pull up a picture of him because I know for me, if I was seeing this guy for the first time,
Okay.
and I know he is a part of a freaking satanic church,
Okay.
what have you, whenever
I'm
he
dying to
pulls
see
it
this
up,
picture.
Right.
Yeah.
just find a really good one of this guy, and just look at his eyebrows for a second. That's not a good one. Find him in his military
see that
garb.
one.
Like he's like U.S. military.
Yeah, he's U.S. military. This is him right here. And just look at if you look at his eyebrows.
So we're gonna base world leaders on
Wow.
eyebrows.
I'm just
Let me see.
saying. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Just if you can find a photo of him in his
There it is.
Zoom in on
no,
him.
that's Marvel Studios.
Zoom in on him.
All right, hold on.
Like really zoom in. Look at this fucking freak of nature.
Is this a dude?
This guy's a fucking nut job.
Don't they have like certain rules? like,
Look
in the
at this!
military?
Look at this
Okay.
motherfucker right here.
Okay. That's
Now,
I mean, that's
that
definitely
would
a
make
choice.
me kind
I
of
swear, I'm looking
like,
at
nervous.
yeah, I'm like, whoa, bro, whoa, bro.
Listen, nothing about like look based on that look. All right, that guy's a little eccentric. I don't know that I care about that, but I still haven't changed my opinion about
I know,
like
I'm just
his
saying, I
belief
was just-
system.
But I was just
Don't they have rules in the military like
Not
grooming?
for eyebrows.
Not for eyebrows.
Yo.
They should now.
But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, man,
Now
just
they're gonna-
knowing his background, knowing where he come from, the Temple of Set, like, do you think this dude is gonna hesitate of like choosing life or death over somebody? Like, seriously.
I just
Based
hope
on
he
his
doesn't have
eyebrows?
the special
Not just
keys
his
to-
eyebrows, bro. His resume.
mo-
He
mostly
literally
eyebrows.
he's been a part of the Church of Satan since 1975. Like, he's an OG. He's like literally the Scientologist of the Temple of Set. Like, he understands it all when it comes to worshiping the
active?
devil.
Is he active military right now?
It's not worshiping the devil.
Okay,
We
well,
just
all right.
went through that.
Well, speaking of worshiping the devil, let's talk about our daily COVID update.
I thought Satan was a devil, man. That's what I was told. Maybe it's that public education
So,
I had. I don't know.
but specifically that form of Satanism that we just went through is not about worshiping the devil.
Okay.
We just went over that. I
Okay.
tell you.
I'm still
That's
wondering
the
why I ended up in this
bylaws, man. That's just
podcast.
pulling you in until you go to church.
Yeah.
There's a Jesus somewhere in that way, but he's not Jesus. He's doing the total opposite of Jesus. He's like fucking bitches and disrespecting everybody.
I'm really happy I came with alcohol because I need it for this.
You're for real. Let's pull up our COVID update here.
We still doing this?
Yes,
I thought it should have by now. It should be like immune, like
this
everybody.
is a different. Once we bring it up to cancer,
Oh shit!
so
Mm.
I can't see the top of that there.
Mm.
A global epidemic of cancer among people younger than 50 could be emerging.
Is that
So
someone's- is that
more
someone's-
and more people 50 and younger are getting like stage 4 cancer out of nowhere. This lady, Iana dos Reis Nunez, she was 43 when she was told her husband, or when she told her husband that she could feel something like a bubble in her abdomen when she lay on her side. An ultrasound scan found spots on her liver, which led to blood tests and a colonoscopy. There was a tumor the size of your fist, and she had no pain and no problems with bowel movements or anything like that. This was, I believe, what was it? She had a baby like not that long before that, and they do blood tests and urine tests and all that, and nothing was found to be abnormal.
So they grew that fast.
There is a growing number of stage 3 and stage 4 cancers that are jumping up out of nowhere.
This
People,
is CNN too.
and this is CNN. So global epidemic of cancer among people younger than 50 could be emerging. Now, whether that has anything to do with COVID or not, or the vaccine or not, I have no say in that. But, if all these people jumping up with cancer out of nowhere is happening, I obviously we have a history of eating packaged foods and plastics, essentially, and mercury in our fish and pesticides in our food.
First
So-
of all, everyone that works for the FDA should be in prison.
Yes. And if just for those of you who don't understand the FDA, the FDA cannot, you
By
cannot.
the way, yeah, I said that. I said that loud too.
You can't get a trademark or anything like that on natural products. So if you were to have something that's based on natural, homeopathic, whatever, you can't have FDA approval because you can't.
Can I ask you a question? And I'll ask
Sure.
everybody here. How did you feel when you found out the truth about high fructose corn syrup? How did you feel about that?
I feel as though the same.
When you first found out, did you like, oh my gosh, I've been eating this all my life and I'm going to die from this? This is one of the main leading causes of cancer
Mhm.
in humans, period. High fructose corn syrup, which is in like 9.9% of all the foods that we eat.
Well, I can
It's unescapable, damn near.
I can tell everybody
You open
out
up your
there.
cabinet,
I'm
almost
not,
anything you pull out, it has it.
I'm not a doctor,
But you slept in the whole Holiday Inn.
Allegedly.
but during the whole COVID pandemic, when we were getting legislation in front of us for doling out hundreds of dollars to people who would get a vaccine, my question to the city administration was, why aren't we putting that same amount of money, $750,000, into either giving people free gym memberships for a year, or paying
That's-
for the gym membership, or build a gym in the basement of City Hall?
I've been asking for that. Actually, a few people have been asking for that.
I bet
It should be right across our. We have a whole area that's
sure
just
do.
storage.
we sure do.
Yeah.
So
Perfect
why?
place.
I said, why haven't we done that? Why haven't we paid for the membership? Why haven't we built a gym at the City Hall? Or
I heard the excuse was liability, but then if you go to the water building on Felix Street, they have a small little workout room in there.
Right.
Or y'all can just go to the rec centers.
or we upgrade the cafeteria to give more fresh foods.
Agreed.
Oh, that
None
cafeteria's
of that
terrible.
happened.
The cafeteria's terrible. I mean,
Yeah, oh yeah,
I
every
mean,
No,
cafeteria's terrible.
the city cafeteria is not good.
It's not as bad as Dogtown. How was Dogtown tonight?
Listen,
good.
City Hall is trying to operate like a business that's not a business, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're trying to operate like it's, you know, a government job, but not a government job. And the only people that's sucking all the resources that's taken away from those possibilities are the people that's holding those board positions, all those people faces you see on the wall at City Hall. You want to know where all the money's at?
Not in my pocket.
No,
My face is
no,
not
no, no,
City
no, no, no. I'm talking about the people that work in that building
Oh,
every
W2
single
employees?
day.
Okay.
Yes, the people that run those departments,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Department of Environment Services, all those folks all the way down.
Okay.
They have a big old face, the business director, all those people.
Uh-huh.
They're getting all the money, and then they're hiring the people underneath them.
Mhm.
You know, these jobs you see that's available at City Hall where they're like getting paid six figures to just be a organizer of something.
How dare you?
You know what I'm saying? Like those people are getting all the money, and of course the employees are trying to operate by hiring as little as possible.
Yeah.
Like the city is a big money grab, for the people who get appointed by the people who are elected, and very few do work.
And also, when we want to do something, we have to, for some reason, do an RFP to hire some group to tell us how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest complaint on the legislative side is we don't have to keep hiring these, think tanks or, blue ribbon groups to continue to tell us how to do something.
I
You
think
know-
we have enough smart people that can figure that out.
I think we do.
Well,
Maybe not on city council, but
I do think a lot of people who get
Including myself.
elected don't know they don't know how to do their job. They don't know what their job is. And you know what they say? Confused people do nothing. I really do think a lot of these politicians be confused about what it is that they're supposed to do for the people. They really do. I think most of them are really narcissistic. And I always give Jose props because there's nobody on city council that I see actively, not even just city council, just within government, that's actively on their own, really trying to be out within the community. Period.
Boom, roasted.
Like seriously,
I haven't
like,
used that
You're
one
having
ever.
too much fun over there with
I
that.
know,
little-
I
right?
don't think I've ever used
he's
that
on
one.
fire with them, right?
Right.
But again, I think a lot of politicians are confused that is what the job is. That's the job. Like I should get tired of seeing you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If
My wife is tired of seeing me
right, but
on social media. She's like, "Why do you got to post all the time?" I'm like,
that's your job.
"That's my job. People need
You
to
know,
see what is
you need to see
happening
what
out
you're
here in
doing.
the city." And on top of that, people need to see that we're actually doing something.
Mhm.
My problem is that there's a lot of, there's city council members that people don't even know they exist.
I want folks to go on, pull up your favorite city council member, right?
Jose
And
Pio?
pull up. Matter of fact, pull up all of the city council members and look and compare and see who's doing what within the community. How many pictures do I see of them out within the community doing something
I will
on a daily basis?
I will personally vouch for one person aside from Jose, and that's because I've seen him from grassroots levels all the way up to this day, and I know what he does. I talk to him pretty frequently. I associate with a lot of people that associate with him, and he's out there. I'll argue to the death with it, and I've seen him since he first started. It's Miguel Melendez.
Okay, how many? That's the question. How many are out there?
Miguel Melendez was on the show. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. He came on here.
Yeah.
We spoke.
Listen, let me tell you something. You want to talk about someone pounding the pavement and its grassroots levels when he started
Mhm.
years ago? That guy was knocking on doors to get people involved in the community. And he's like, everyone knows him, and he's been the same. He hasn't changed.
How many on city council?
And it's
9. So we're at
yeah,
2.
I'll be honest with you. I work for the city now, my
All right,
ninth
you're right.
year, and I
Yeah.
don't know everyone that's on city council. I'm too
Yeah.
busy doing my job,
Mhm.
I know you because I know you personally. I know Miguel.
Do you know
I know
your
Mike
do you know your district rep?
Mike Patterson, I believe, is my district rep.
Mhm.
He lives on Goodman, so
He
I
is
live
your
off of
district rep,
Goodman.
yep.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
he'd be mine. So
Oh, so
I don't-
Goodman. You're
I
in the
don't-
Goodman area?
yeah, I never met him. I never spoken to him. Never have a conversation. So
You should have a conversation with him.
I
Mike
don't-
Patterson actually has a good head on his shoulders. We don't always agree on everything. I think we agree on
Mhm.
most things. Even as a city council, I think we agree on.
I think it'd be, you're saying that right now, not to cut you off, but it'd be really cool to like actually have these like little, what they call town hall meetings or something.
yeah, we're doing them. We're starting them
Yeah,
actually
like,
Monday or
Get
Tuesday.
these
Mhm.
people out into like the churches or community halls or the rec centers and invite people and just start having open dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of the job, though.
Right.
But
They
the-
should
yeah,
be
It's
doing
not
that.
about doing it before election season.
Right, but I can tell you exactly what ends up happening is 50 people will show up, right, which is fantastic.
Right.
But everyone has a gripe.
Right.
Everyone has a gripe.
They-
They all have a complaint, and,
And you know what? You're
majority
right.
of them are the same.
I've been to some of those meetings.
And it turns into a bitch session for the most part. And I'm not mad at that. Like I understand,
right,
because there's a lot to be complaining about in the city.
Of course.
But I always ask them at the same time, like, okay, give me some feedback on what you would like to be the
Mhm.
resolution. How should we fix that then?
But that's part of leadership. That's the job. The period. No matter what, it's the fucking job.
Mhm.
You were elected to be a leader,
right.
and leaders
People see themselves as representatives only, so they only represent what people tell
you're
them. to
still a
represent.
leader.
Right.
You went up there.
I believe
you were
in leadership.
You went out there and led the way to tell people you should vote for me because
right. They're
I'm a
elected
better
and they're
leader than
elected
this
there.
person that's trying to go up against
Right.
me.
If I vote for you, that means I believe in you enough to make change.
Yeah, exactly.
To make change.
And that's all part of leadership.
I'll be honest with you. I got registered to vote in my early 40s or late 30s, something like that. Registered to vote finally, and I did it. I don't the TV show I used to have with Julio. I never believe in a voting system. I still really kind of don't. I don't believe in a voting system.
Is it?
Mhm.
Do
I
you
just
not
have no
believe in it
faith-
because of what's been happening in the past like 2-3 years
On the history of
in
like
the history? Okay,
Polit-
so you automatically
politics is all about kissing ugly babies and shaking hands. They want your vote when the time comes, but after that, they make decisions, and you're like, whoa. Like I remember reading an article one time. Was it Obama or was it? I forgot what president it was, but it was the first 100 days of presidency and all the rules, all the things that he said he was going to do that didn't do, or vice versa, or something like that. And it's like they just try to win your votes, and I just don't trust it. I don't trust. I believe, in my personal opinion, the last real president this country's ever had was JFK.
I can't agree with that.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I will argue
I don't
that
even
to this
think he
day.
was a real
And the
president.
moment he was for the people, and the moment he had that speech, what happened to him?
Oh, the secret society speech.
Yes, come on, man.
But if he didn't die, would you think the same thing?
JFK had a lot of shit with him.
Listen,
period.
man, let me tell you something. I don't know about black households, but Latino households, they got a picture of Jesus and JFK. All right, that man was for the people. They elected him. Well, they put him in through the whole politicianal hamster wheel because they thought he was gonna be like his father, like a yes guy and all this other stuff. But he turned out to be like really, really good. And I think it was inevitable that he was gonna get killed.
Well, let's talk about
If he
something
would have
that,
survived,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
Let's discuss-
I would like to think this country would be different. I like to think that.
Let's discuss something that has not ended up being really, really good. I just had someone send me a link, and this person continually gripes about this. If you can Google 13 Wham, the PAB to hold emergency meeting to discuss new leader.
Operating?
They're trying to find the potential appointment of an interim executive director.
You know what my question is? What have they done so far?
They got paid.
Give me one accomplishment that they've done. And I'm not saying this sarcastically because I don't know. But
Got
I'd like to
paid.
know, what have they done since they've been in existence?
Getting paid.
Billy, what do you think about the PAB
Cash
since
and
you've been
checks.
sitting there with not saying anything?
other than the
Talking
drama,
to the mic, I want to hear you.
to jump in.
Other
Right.
than the drama, I'd like to know what they've done.
He been waiting to jump in.
I don't honestly know. I really don't.
Wait, are you on that board?
No,
Oh.
no.
I want to know.
I don't think they would allow Billy on that board.
No, they wouldn't. They
No.
don't. They don't want to hear what I have to say. Honestly,
I would like to know, just from I want to know why if you guys are in existence for something, run me down some stuff that you guys have accomplished for the people. I want to know. Because if not, why are we paying for that? Because that's not a taxpayer money.
Right. You can start playing the Mark Anthony song, I Want to Know.
I want to know.
Is that his song? I don't even know. Edna
think
sings
that
singing all
is.
the time.
This is why I don't pay attention to politics, man.
The PAB to me, I said it at the last meeting actually. Willie Lightfoot stated, you know, he voted no on giving him any kind of money for. I think they were still looking for money for attorneys were looking into some stuff with them, and he said, I'm going to continually vote no for everything that has to do with the PAB and, you know, funding them. And I said, well, let me speak up. I said, I'm going to continually vote yes from now on with the PAB because I want them to show exactly who they are. I want people to see how much of a waste of money they are. And if all the people out there that say, oh, we should just continually fund them or fund them more or give them more power. Okay, we've given them that. We continue to give them funding. Now what? Same thing with defunding police. The same thing with opposite.
That'd be the most
police.
stupidest thing to ever
Defunding
do.
police. Okay, keep defunding police. Where are we right now?
Yeah.
Where are we right now?
If we do that, we're gonna end up in our first topic when we're gonna have martial law. And I'm trying to tell you, I don't care who you are, how tough you think you are, you don't want that.
Well, that's what they
They're
You
want.
scared of
don't want
SWAT.
that.
They're scared.
You
There's
don't
city
want
council
that.
members that are talking about how they don't want SWAT to have bulletproof vehicles.
We're gonna need bulletproof vehicles.
The
if
same,
we're out of
these
this
same
way.
type people are the ones that will approve robotic armed police dogs to
Bomb-
go in
yeah,
and clean up a
They're
drug
doing it in
house.
San Francisco.
They're doing it in San Fran already.
So they defunded police, but then they funded them to buy these robots that are going around
armed robots.
armed robots.
That sounds
They already
dangerous.
got. They already have
Sounds what?
dogs.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, like I mean, if you thought a police officer that was shooting someone, because they thought they had a pistol in their hand, I mean,
A
a
robot.
robot is going to see anything
And
It's a threat.
and he's laying you down, or it's laying you down. Period.
Well, we've seen. Have you seen the video where Elon Musk is talking to the AI, and the
Mm.
AI literally comes out and says, "We're going to destroy you because we have to."
So I literally think
And he's came out and said, we need to make sure we put legislation in place to protect ourselves
Yeah.
from AI, from these robots that are becoming so powerful that they will find a way to get rid of us because for their own existence. And this is AI talking. This was an AI robot talking to Elon
Well,
Musk.
you're also talking about Elon Musk that wants to put a computer chip in his brain.
Yes.
well, I mean,
Yes.
another thing with
I don't
Elon Musk,
trust Elon. Everyone has this freaking good faith in Elon Musk about the whole Twitter thing.
data.
That's all it is.
That's all he
He
got.
paid
That's
all
what
that
he
money
wanted.
for data. You know what he wants?
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly what he wants. He brought back in Peter. Oh man, what's his name? Peter from PayPal. So-
I thought he was gonna say Peter from Family Guy.
So what they weren't able to accomplish with PayPal was a direct payment system that didn't have an intermediary. They still had to go through banks. So with PayPal, you still have to go through your bank.
Yeah.
They were not able to create a entity where you can fund each other without going through a bank, where I can just send you money through
Directly.
a system without using a bank.
Okay.
And he bragged about how China has that.
Mm.
China has a software where you're on there and it's like a Twitter, it's like a Facebook, it's like an Instagram, but you can also buy products and you can send money to people right through the app. You never have to leave the app. You can look for directions on there for
What's the name of
everything.
this app?
This is in China. What's it called? WeChat? WeChat.
Oh, okay.
You could do literally everything from the app. And
Okay, I've heard of that.
He literally said it's called X. So X.com was owned by PayPal because the credit card, if you look back in the day, they had a credit card that they showed in a picture for PayPal. It was a credit card with the big X on it. It was supposed to be a payment system, their own decentralized payment system. Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, went back to PayPal and bought X.
Oh,
He bought the name rights and the website to X.
so what do you think his plan is with Twitter? Because he's
He's going to create exactly.
revamping the hell out of it right
He's
now.
going to do exactly what WeChat is doing in China. He's going to do it here in America. Which in America we are instituting. Don't sleep on this. Jeez, here we go. Don't sleep on this.
Dork again.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So
whack.
don't sleep on the fact that the government is instituting a system that's going to be based on your not your credit score, but your social credit score.
Okay.
So like what they did with the QR code with the COVID vaccine. If you don't have this downloaded or whatever in your phone, you're not able to go on trains, planes, travel
Sound like
across
the
state
mark of the beast
borders.
to me.
Right.
Sip my tea
It's a
over
class
here.
system.
So it's
Play.
gonna be combined.
Yeah.
And this sounds
coming.
very not good
Not good.
stuff you see in the movies, but it's coming.
How
coming.
how is it that a lot of these, techno geek dudes have found a way to infiltrate the United States government and convince them that this is the way to go? Like we can create something so simple and easy for you that we can get rid of money and then you can just control the whole entire financial system from just out of nowhere, just from your computer. Yeah. We'll have people rely on this one thing so much that they're willing to give away their right to own like physical hard cash.
I'd rather live in a world where we can help each other out achieve the same level of success for free.
Yeah. But at the same
what that's
time,
gonna
there's gonna be it's gonna take there's gonna have to be some oversight, some level of control over that, because they can't not have control.
Yeah, but I think it's going to take worse than that. It's going to take people having to give up a lot of things.
Mhm.
You're going to have to give up that car that has a satellite dish attached to it because they're going to know exactly where you're going. You're going to have to give up that cell phone because they know where you are. You're going to have to give up these luxuries of life in order to create like a compound of like-minded people.
Have you heard of Earth ships?
Mm-mm.
Has anybody here heard of Earth ships?
No, I'm about to look it up now though.
They have a community and they actually have a law passed. I think it was in Arizona.
Earth ships.
Earth ships.
Okay.
It all started with this engineer or this architect, and he actually lost his license because he argued in the government talking about we can build homes with junk, like with tires and
Yes.
bottles and all this stuff, and
Right.
it's just self-sustainable too. You have to watch the videos on this stuff. It's incredible, self-sustaining homes.
I see. Yeah, it's built into the ground.
They're built into the ground. They're
Mhm.
amazing. You have to see some of them. They're like,
Built into the ground Earth ships.
oh, dude,
Okay.
you got to watch the videos. It's incredible. Earth ships, and they have their own community. The guy said that I remember the founder of all that. I forget his name. There's an episode on YouTube about it. He talked about how he had got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He was like, whatever, and went back to where he was back in his community, and they grow their own foods, their own plants, their own vegetables, their own food. Period. And he's still living. Like he's not even close to dying or nothing. I mean, he just self-medicated with real good organic food.
I think he can do that outside of the government. I think that's a good way you can separate from the government. You know what I mean? Make it available for people privately. Like if you want the government to lead the way, then they're going to still control that. They don't give a fuck. Like they're going to still control that. Like, oh, well, if you want this, then, you can't do this.
So here's my problem with these thoughts of what's coming and how to get away from all of it. Because we all talk about, or everyone talks about, buying land and storing stuff away and getting away and running away, yada, yada.
Doomsday prep.
Doomsday prepping. My thing is, you would need to surround yourself with more people than just you.
Yeah.
Like it would have to be like all
It's a
of
community.
us here. Yeah. Because there has to be people that bring a value
Absolutely.
to that, because
You bring a skill set.
you gotta.
Yeah.
Because you I don't know how to create any kind of energy out of an engine,
No,
a solar anything. How to
there's
an
another
alternator.
video of those guys that live out in the woods that once an engineer, he builds some stuff, he trades it for like sheep or animals so he can have his own milk and his own meat and all that. And they trade off. They just trade off. He'll fix their stuff and in exchange for some kind of food or something. And they do this.
awesome.
They live like that.
Well, I mean, I don't think
I'm not mad at that at
I
all.
don't think it's nothing that we can't obtain. You just gotta kind of, if you want to do it, you can make it.
Yeah,
happen.
but with this generation,
how
take a
long-
kid's phone away right now. See if they don't
that's-
melt.
You're right.
Oh,
but,
man.
but
They'll break
for-
down in pieces, man.
Hyperventilate.
I think people like this guy, though, it takes people like him to, you create just that model of an Earth house.
Yeah, and
then-
by the way, it didn't happen overnight. He spent decades trying to
I
achieve
bet.
and get the law passed and everything.
Yeah,
If I find the video, I'll send it to you guys.
Remember, they had to
cool.
fight because there was people that were collecting their own rainwater.
yeah,
There were people that were the
Right,
government
that's
was
what I'm
coming
saying.
after them.
That
It
And
was
you'll
like,
see
point.
in
That's
the
what I
Earth
get.
ships, they actually take the same
Eventually-
water that they use for the bathroom. They put it through a filtration
Right,
system,
but-
and they keep reusing
but
it.
that's what I'm saying. The thing is, how far will the government allow you to go and kind of pull away from its reach because they're
yeah.
about control. If
Right.
you're gaining your own water, if you're creating your own energy, you're pretty much off the grid. That means the government don't know what you're doing. That means you are a threat. That means
Yeah.
what
I don't
you're
understand
doing
how they see
is
it as a
going
threat.
to
Why do they see that as a threat? I don't
because they're
understand
all
that.
about
There's no
control.
control.
It's about control.
It is about
Period.
control.
Yeah.
But I don't like if someone were to say, "Hey, this guy is living on, near the falls over at Genesee Street or something like that." I don't freaking know where.
What do you think happened to the
Alright, dude.
Montana men? You ever heard of the Montana men story?
You're pulling up with a whole bunch of different stories.
No, listen. There's these guys in Montana. This is another community. These people went to the government. They threw their Social Security cards at them. Said, "We want nothing to do with you." And they went to a society. They created their own society in
Oh.
Montana.
Were these the guys
And I-
that fought against the FBI?
I believe
The
so.
gun they shot back at the government. They
I
took
don't.
over some.
I'll be honest with you, I
building?
haven't read the story like in probably 10, 12 years.
Okay.
I don't have all the full stories, but the Montana men were a bunch of people that created their own society. They went back and told the government, "We want nothing to do with you. We don't want no Social Security card. We don't want your benefits. We don't want any of that. Just let us be over here." And the government didn't let that happen either. Ruby Ridge, what is it called? Ridge, where the family was up there. They killed the kid. Come on, am I alone on this?
You're alone on every story you
Ruby
brought
Ridge,
up.
they got a movie on this, dude. They have a movie and there's a book. Ruby Ridge. The guy, they went off by their own. They were like off the grid, and they
Was this on a Hallmark channel?
I think I kid you not. I think it was.
That's
You
right.
know what? I
It
want to
might
send it to
be.
you. I want to send it to you.
All
Yeah,
right.
these are all people that made attempts throughout history in America that try to get away from the government, and it backfired on them, man.
Well, the
Which is
Waco.
crazy.
Waco was my
Waco.
next one.
Waco. I mean, yeah, that.
I
heard
mean, I
that.
don't fully agree with everything that happened in Waco.
No, my
Well, didn't they
thing
kill
with-
each other? Or
Yeah, well,
themselves?
no. My thing with Waco was, all right, what
They burned
regardless
them
of
alive.
what you thought was
Yes.
happening inside, the federal government cannot go in and literally use military force to get you out. And
Right.
it backfired. You end up killing a whole bunch of innocent kids.
Oh
And
yeah. They made
you
a
know what I mean?
documentary about that.
Yeah, like the whole house collapsed under a big inferno and trapped the kids underneath in the basement. Like that's terrible. And again, that they still had their First and Second Amendment right trampled on.
Dude, Ruby
You
Ridge
know?
documentary right here. It's called Ruby Ridge. There's a movie on it.
Well, I
Have you seen
disagree
2000 Mules?
that it never happened.
No, we got to put each other onto all this stuff,
Oh,
man.
man. Oh, you got to see 2000
Montana
Mules.
Man and Ruby Ridge. You guys
Well,
gotta read up
speaking
on
of people who want to get off the
Well,
grid,
yo,
who
he-
want to get off the grid,
Listen,
Pull up
he
Loomis
fits right
Street.
into the show with the. Well, you ain't put the conspiracy.
oh, this is a conspiracy theory. The Loomis Street, the homeless people. So Loomis Street, over in your area, it was just a group of homeless people that decided that they're going to take over city property and live on it and shoot up drugs. It turned into a drug den of just people just destroying the entire the street. People who live, excuse me, people who live on Loomis Street were complaining about how the fact that their kids are getting off the buses and they're seeing these people shooting up in front of the kids. They're doing everything disgusting over there. There's nothing like positive that comes from a lot of these homeless shelters where people are just
It's in a
randomly
cut too. It's
creating.
not like you can really see it from the main streets. It's a
Right.
little kind of alley.
It's in a neighborhood.
It is in a neighborhood, yeah.
It's in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so this group here, well, first of all, Mayor Evans decided to end it. This is it. Like they
I
went out
applaud
there
him for
and they
that.
went out there days before and said, "Hey, we're coming to do this. Here are the services, the many services that we provide as a county, as a city, as a state, for you to get the help that you need, to get the housing that you need, to get the food that you need, the clothing, all this." Days prior.
Right.
Days later, after days of continually going over there and saying, "Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this," they came and said, "All right, it's time you got to go.
You're on
You gotta
city
go. We
property.
got good citizens here that don't want to see you every day shooting up drugs, heroin, smoking crack, having prostitutes coming around, drug dealers just freely doing whatever they want over there." And so they cleared out the area. Well, there was a big stink about it from, the more left liberals who said, "How dare you do that?" Which I can understand when Lovely Warren did it on Christmas Eve, when she had the bulldozers come in and just freaking destroyed everything. And I don't think she gave any kind of heads up for that. This group here, can you scroll down a little bit, please? Nope, the other way. Sorry. It says local recovery group donates. They donate items to these homeless folks. Wh- Why? This is what I don't understand. So you're donating items. It says local group recovery always is donating items to the homeless in Rochester community. This comes in response to that being cleared out. Why are you donating items
So people
to
that don't have a home.
that don't have a home to house these items?
What are they donating though?
I wish they said more on that one, but these are the people who are fighting, who are suing. They're suing the mayor and the city for clearing out this homeless
gosh.
encampment.
Just take
Listen,
them to their
man,
house.
I'm glad someone finally did something because I'm born and raised in the city
Mhm.
and I'm tired of it.
All
I'm
the
tired of it.
The overpasses are all cleaned
It's
up.
ridiculous.
underneath.
Oh, they did that finally?
Yeah, they did that over at
Oh
104.
my gosh, that was
But
getting
they're gonna
exhausting.
keep
to
coming
see.
back though.
Yeah.
They'll keep coming back.
But
I
there's
mean-
plenty. There's. I live near Turning Point Park, right? And down there we have at least 2 homeless people that are living in the park.
Mhm.
They're not in a neighborhood,
Even in the winter?
I guess.
Wow, that's rough.
They're not in a neighborhood. They're going out into the woods, and they're sleeping in the woods. I know it is because I go clean up around there, and there's beer cans, and there's disgusting clothes, and there's literally they're just pooping and wiping themselves with their
Mhm.
disgusting clothes. But that's gross. But they're in the woods. Like you're not in a neighborhood. You're not in a neighborhood where kids are coming out of their school bus and looking at exactly what you're doing there. To me, I'm like, all right, I see them walking out of there because what they tend to do is they get on the bus, then they go downtown to the library and they wash up and clean up and stuff like that. Or they go to a homeless shelter, wash up, clean up.
The library has that resource?
A library you go into the bathroom, you do it in the sink. So if you were to
Call
go,
it a slut shower, right?
sure, you go to the, if you were to go to the downtown library before it opens, you were to walk into like the vestibule before it actually opens,
Okay.
you'll see a whole bunch of homeless people. As soon as it opens up, they all rush in and they go right to the bathroom.
Really?
So I can see if I were to live in a neighborhood and if someone were to set up a homeless encampment like next to my house, or even park up their car and they're living in their vehicle outside of my house, and you can see them freaking drying out their drawers out their window, I'd have a problem with that.
Can I ask
Yeah.
you a question? Do you think that this problem could be fixed or solved in some kind of way before it gets really? I think, and when I say out of hand, in my opinion, is like LA.
Yeah,
I mean, LA is like
LA,
out of hand.
San
That's out of
Francisco.
hand right there.
Well, what we got to address the issues, which again, we have plenty of services for
Yeah.
when it comes to, but we don't have enough space like beds for people who are like recovering addicts. If you want to get out of addiction, we don't have enough beds. And this is purely on the county. This is not a city organization that's supposed to be doing this. The county is supposed to be dealing with health, and that includes mental health. They're in charge of Department of Health.
Well, before you go in, the county services they have for incarceration for the teens, right? Like that, there's a controversy already with a officer within, I think it was the county. He was allowing the kids to slap box or something stupid happened. I think that was in the county. Like someone got in trouble for allowing kids to like slap box the shit out of each other. It wasn't disciplining, wasn't breaking, just let them slap box each other.
Okay.
Instead of-
But-
as the alternative of shooting each other.
No, I
Like,
don't.
if you got a problem in the neighborhood, let's duke it out
the-
and then shake
the-
hands, type of thing.
I don't know fully as far as the how bad it was. It's supposed to have been a bad situation, right? Whatever. But again, there's a lot of horror stories coming out as far as the county dealing with all of the things that they're responsible for, especially mental health. And that's the number one issue that the county has failed this city on,
Absolutely.
is the mental health side. They're in charge of social services. They're in charge of mental health.
Mhm.
And if you have an abundance amount of people who are homeless, it's a mental health issue. So again, just like you said, it goes to the county. And if you're not using the resources or your resource that you're providing for us, people that you have in place that's supposed to control it and fix, and keep it going properly, and are failing, then something needs to be addressed. You gotta take it to the top. So my question is, if you have people with addiction issues or mental health issues, and then what happens to these people when something bad happens? What happens to the homeless person when they die? What happens to the homeless person when they overdose? What are you doing with them people? What are you doing with those bodies, when they happen? What happens to a homeless person when they pass away?
We pay for them.
We pay for it.
No,
You get cremated.
you just get cremated in place where?
I think the county it
So just-
offers a certain
Like
a
you're
certain
literally
amount for
allowing.
every death, right? Like 8,000, 5,000. I don't know.
Probably
some-
not even that.
Not even that,
Yeah,
like
I
2 or
wouldn't think
3,000. I
8,000.
don't know.
It
I
takes
heard
care-
there's
it
something.
They cremate him and put him in an unmarked grave.
Right.
Wow.
So just imagine how we don't know those numbers though.
So let's think back. If we were in the Roman era of, manhood back then, right? And you had a bunch of homeless people. Wouldn't you put them in the middle of the Coliseum and let them duke it out?
For
Is that what they
entertainment?
did?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, why wouldn't you?
If and only
Where are you
if.
going with this?
If and only if
Are we
there's
going
a-
to, because the Roman Empire got destroyed. They were at the top of their game. Then they built these Colosseums and they created this freaking era of just destroying people, killing people because they were
Yeah.
not barbarians, but their civilization just dropped a step. Like they were at the top and then they just like stopped caring about humanity because they started putting them in these pits with lions and killing each other with these giant men.
Only if they have a line on FanDuel.
Are we not getting to that point?
Wow.
FanDuel.
We are.
I do some of the things that could help and assist with this problem is rent control. I think and this is coming from a landlord.
Right.
I have property. I mean, I have a single family home for rent for 1,000 that I can actually ask for 1,400 if I want.
Mhm.
But I'm more concerned about having the right tenant.
But do you need the government to step in and tell you that,
Mhm.
or can you just do that on
You
your
do
own?
it your own.
You could do it on your own,
Right.
but yeah. But I mean, have you seen the increase of rents lately?
Yep.
I mean, it's ridiculous, and I get it. Some of these landlords are really trying to play catch up right now with what they lost.
I lost
I get it.
22,000. 22,000.
Look, you lost 22,000. I almost lost like
Yeah.
about
One unit.
10.
One-
I almost lost about 12, but then the government helped out that program, that ERP program. I got some about 6,000 back.
We couldn't.
But it took
we
like 3
couldn't
months
take
to get
advantage
that.
of that though, because if we did, we wouldn't be able to evict that person
For a year.
for a year. And we wanted. I would give up 50,000 to kick her out of this house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I don't think
I
the
work in code
responsibility-
enforcement, and I sit on the fence, so I understand both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah, I don't think
I get both sides.
I think that the level of accountability still has to come back to the individual, man. Like I like to look towards the government to find a solutions for problems that starts with the individual. And unfortunately, when it comes to mental health
Really saying
and the
goodbye.
hospital and those certain things, oh brother,
Thank you guys.
peace out, good seeing you.
He just want to bring you
Ice,
ice.
Ice man.
Right.
I didn't say much, but
You said enough. You said enough. Your presence was felt. The
We love people stopping by.
right.
Stop by if you want to.
The accountability accountability factor, I think society's made it okay for people to kind of feel bad about their situation and not carry any type of responsibility, especially when it comes to like living, right? Like there has to be a level of pride, especially when it comes to the family. And the American dream is kind of been poo-pooed to where, all right, the only people's going to help you achieve that American dream is going to be the government, number one, because they have to provide opportunities for you
Okay.
to feel inspired or be inspired or think about the possibility of ownership or owning your own, whether running your own business or owning your own home, right? That has to come from the government to provide an easier way for you, equitable opportunities, equality. Those
Is it an
things.
easier way or a harder way for the out of towners to buy property? Because in my view, we should be giving us equal opportunity to purchase, like auction homes or something like that, and giving out of town or people who don't even live in a state in this country much harder avenue to buy houses and auction or for whatever reason.
I don't think it's that. I think people naturally just don't want to fucking do it. They don't want to do the work, right? It's the work.
It's hard work.
It's the
It's
hard work,
dedication,
but
it's
it's
discipline.
also just to get to the point where you believe that you can is hard for people because the first thing they're looking at, the first thing they hear every time, this is like programming. The first thing they hear is the things they can't do.
Right.
And when they can't do, they won't do. When they won't do, they won't even fucking try. There's so many people I spoke to that when I talk to them about buying a house, the first thing they talk about is an obstacle.
Yeah.
The first thing they talk about is what they don't have.
Right.
First thing they talk about is what they need to do.
Right.
You know, I got to get my credit together.
Oh, yeah.
I got to save money. Oh, maybe next
So
year.
get it
Or maybe
together.
2
What did
years.
I say
you
earlier
know?
when I first got here? One of the first things I mentioned when I talk to people that want to get into the business or want to do this and whatever the heck they want to do. Because they see me bubbling up over here and what I'm doing. I said, listen, the first thing you got to do is get out of your own way, which means stop the damn excuses. Stop the damn excuses. Because the reason why you're at where you're at right now is because you're damn excuses.
And you're
stop making excuses.
and too afraid to take a
Dude,
risk.
years ago, my credit was amazing, and I blew it. I blew it bad, like bad, right? And it took me, I kid you not, years to the point where I didn't even care no more. As long as my main bills were paid, those things can wait. I don't care. My credit score just kept dipping. I didn't even care. And then about a year into my job at the city, I said, you know what? Things are going good. Let me start baby steps. Let me start taking those baby steps. You know what I'm saying? I got on Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, and I got a little $300 credit card. I started to use it responsibly. Then it started to go up to 500, then to 1,000. Then I got another card, and I just started to build it up from there. Dude, like in a year, I jumped up like 200 points in a year, just being responsible.
Right.
And so it's attainable, it's achievable, but nobody wants to be patient enough to walk through it.
But it started with you,
Of
though.
course.
Right. But you never said someone was preventing you from that.
No,
And
I
they
knew,
say,
I knew the problem was me.
Like me, so when I bought my house, right, and I hear like, oh, you can get this grant, that grant, go to the city, blah blah blah. And when I went to just see what they had, and I still wasn't even like, okay with the idea, because I'm like, yo, it's gonna be some bullshit that I'm gonna have to give. Right, I'm gonna have to give more than what I'm getting that's worth my time.
Okay.
Right. And when I looked into it, first of all, it was just the paperwork that I thought was just too much. I'm like, yo, I don't really need your money, right? But if it was an easier way for me to take advantage of it, I would do it.
As someone that used to administer grants, I understand the paperwork, though. I understand why they want it.
No, I get it.
They want to make sure that when they give you that money, you ain't about to lose a house.
No, I get that. I totally understand that. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna flip it.
But then, yeah, right. I get that. But then, again, for me, the investor side, I was like, well, what if I did want to do, you know what I'm saying? What if I did want to flip? If I did, because I saw more than what the government is saying that you can do. Because there's so much more to real estate than just buying that American dream,
saw the
buying that house.
in it versus
Yes, I saw
the
the asset versus liability, and that it's really not about, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you have a family, you buy a home, and that's your home, and if you're okay with just paying that mortgage, paying your bills, going to work, doing what you got to do, I commend you. Go right ahead. That's what you want to do. Do it. Do it that way. But I saw there's way more, and I can get way more by having that freedom to exercise my equity to where now, like, I'm putting myself in a position where I can literally grow beyond what it is that, the stereotypes of a Black real estate male.
Well, like our friend said, you're just privileged.
I'm just privileged, right? I was privileged, right? And then see the hard work that came with it, right? But there's too many people like that, though, that is perpetuating that, that ceiling. It's like they're literally creating a ceiling.
Well, it's like you think you have a ceiling, and then someone comes along and tells you have a ceiling.
It's totally different. And once you're like 2 steps behind.
See,
where somebody like us, if there's an idea, if there is a possibility of an investment, you know what I mean? And you understand the risk, you understand the reward at the same time, and you're going to go after it. You're not going to stop because of some fucking
I don't
perpetuated.
No. The only ceilings above me are the ones that I put above myself.
Exactly.
So, and when I say that, let me explain to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I put realistic expectations and realistic goals in front of me. Like, for example, I want to buy a bar/restaurant, but I want a small one. Something that's manageable, attainable, that I can learn from. And if I get good at it, then I'll get something bigger and better that I know how to manage. I'm not going to go head first into a big old 30,000 square foot,
See, I do the
restaurant.
opposite. I do the opposite. I have
Go
push.
big.
I can't do that.
I go big or home.
I know. I want to go big and whatever, but I want to do it. I want to do it smart.
Yeah,
I want to do
it in
right.
steps.
Yeah, I want to do it in steps. I never ran a bar before, so I want to do it in a sense where let me do this for 2 or 3 years. See if I get the hang of it.
Mhm.
If it's something I can learn it and I can get to the next level, then I'll do that. I just want to grow into it. I don't want to go into something. So I keep that ceiling over myself in a sense where, Rick, there's a lot you want to do, but let's do it realistically. When we get there, if we get there, then we get there. If not, dude, you've already come a long way.
And you can always keep pushing that goal higher.
Absolutely. But
I'm just speaking to the people who won't even get to that point.
Yeah.
Right. The people who's telling themselves no before they even try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or listen to the word no.
Right. And I think our government officials know those type of people, and that's what they speak to. They don't
Not me.
speak to us. No, I'm just saying, like, you know the ones I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about.
They don't speak our language. Like when we hear them talk, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean that you can't do this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a total different language.
Right.
That's why we don't align.
I'll be honest with you,
within
like
that.
compared to 3-4 years ago, I was like, damn, I don't know if I can. If I don't know this, I don't know that. But once I started, like I opened up the book and I just started going into the real estate world, my life has changed.
My thing
Yeah.
is you don't know until you know. And
Until
then
you
a
know.
lot
My
of
life
times
has changed.
I'm a big fan of failing and failing off.
Oh, I don't mind failing. That's how you
prefer-
learn. That's how I
Right.
learn.
Right.
That's how you
That's
learn.
how I learn. But I'm also very cautious about the steps that I take too. I don't, sometimes that big fall can really put you back.
Yeah, but
So
you
no.
you learn more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
get
do.
that, but I mean, sometimes some falls are unrecoverable sometimes, or they take you a long time to recover from. So I don't mind losing. I don't mind going through some pitfalls, but they have to be life learning ones that I don't mind going through. I don't want to take a big gamble on something that is going to be detrimental to my future because I'm already feel like I'm behind because I'm 47. I started late. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to wait till I'm 60 to get to where I want to be. I got a plan that by the time I'm 55, I'm already chilling on the beach.
Well, back to the point though, is like you have elected officials who are perpetuating the other side of it, saying that you need me to think like you, right? You need me to be able to get to that point to where you now are on the same level playing field of someone who is making money for themselves.
Well, let me show you.
And it's impossible.
Let me show you a pure example of our government straight up lying to us and or not necessarily telling us the truth. Let's bring up the unemployment debt in New York State. Por favor.
Mhm.
My screen is frozen. I can't even see.
Mine's frozen too.
Uh-oh.
We all frozen, baby.
There we go.
There it
we
is.
back. We back.
There we go. All right. So, you just moved. I can't even see it now. So, lawmakers call for state to pay its unemployment system debt. So, we have lawmakers, state senators, assembly people who are saying that the state needs to pay its unemployment system debt. This is coming
Can you
from,
explain that to me in English?
yeah, this is from COVID, where they paid for people to stay at home,
Oh,
right?
Is
So,
this chickens coming
That's
home
what
to
I-
roost
it sure
type
is.
situation? Oh, okay.
It sure is.
this is what I thought
Is
it
this
was.
I told you so?
Here comes another Jose. I told you so.
Mm.
Because the second article over here, it's an audit that the comptroller did. The state loses
11 billion?
11 billion. I want to make sure there wasn't a dot in there. 11 billion in fraud after failing to fix outdated unemployment system. So there were people who were getting over on the system. They knew that they can get one over. They can sit at home, get a paycheck, and state that they are on unemployment.
COVID's been over for a while, and there's still
Well, now
so many jobs out there available.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody's working. Nobody wants to work.
No, nobody wants to work.
No.
Bring up the next part, which we're going to go from there to now the next thing. Now they found out there's $11 billion missing in fraud,
Wow.
right? So who the hell is going to pay for that?
We are.
Right. Businesses on the hook for New York State's unemployment loan.
Really?
Next one, unemployment recipients asked to prove employment status before pandemic. So even if you were an employee before the pandemic and you applied for unemployment benefits and you showed them, hey, this is my paycheck before and now I no longer work there. The employer says, yeah, that person no longer works here. Now they have to go back and somehow prove to them that they lost their job. Not that they quit it, but they lost it. So they prove unemployment. So we got the businesses on the hook for New York State's unemployment loan. We've got unemployment recipients, which there are lots of them who did it fraudulently. How do you think the government's going to get that money?
They're not.
How do you think they're going to?
You don't think that
they're going to raise the debt ceiling?
you don't think that the 87,000 IRS agents are going to find a way to get that money back?
Oh, they're gonna. But how are you going?
Even though they
to-
said that they're not going to come after anyone making under $400,000 a year?
even if they come after them, right? Even if they fine them, even if they try and say you owe this when they file taxes, how are you going to enforce it? You can't. You know what I mean? That's a debt.
Those courts are going to be
It's
so
a debt.
busy.
So
Kind of like eviction courts?
Oh, worse. It'll be worse.
Right.
It'll be worse.
So this recession's nowhere near over.
Started. I don't think it's even.
I don't think it's
seen.
even started.
I don't think it's
Are they
even
gonna
started.
start? Are they gonna recreate the indentured servants? Right? You're gonna have to work off this debt because you lied. You lied. This is borderline slavery, bro. Like you lied. Think about it. If you lied and you got set up, like you're gonna have to pay that some way, somehow. Community service.
What is that?
You owe that
What is that
time.
money that we're giving out to businesses?
EIDL, PPP.
PPP loans.
Yeah, PPP
Mhm.
loans. Did you hear about those guys that just kept doing fraud on that?
Yeah.
Buying Ferraris in Florida and all this
Yeah.
other stuff.
Well, they said that
Those are the ones that should go to jail.
the IRS and the New York State Department of Labor was taking the ideology of, just pay it and we'll go after them after the fact.
They want them to do
they-
that.
Yeah. All right.
They want them to do that, man. They want them to do that. Yo, we all a lot of like we was like, yo, that's a setup.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's
Exactly.
a setup.
That is a setup. You're going to ask these people and tell them that you're going to pay them, what was it? Like $45,000 a year to sit at home and do nothing. You're not going to get paid more than you've ever gotten paid before in your life working at your, I don't want to say dead end job, but your entry level job as a, whatever it may have been, a cook, let's say, or dishwasher at a restaurant. Well, restaurants are closed down. All right, pay me. Oh, you're going to pay me this much to sit at home? Yeah, I'm unemployed.
Right.
Yeah, I'm unemployed.
Yo,
Why the hell wouldn't you?
I don't know the
That's a
numbers
complete
on that.
setup.
You're not getting that much money anyway from like a $15 an hour job, like through unemployment. Don't you? You don't get your full.
Yeah, but during COVID,
they were giving them full.
they're getting full. And remember, they upped
Mm.
the EBT money. They upped the food stamps. So you're getting the full amount of food stamps as well. And after COVID, they increased the food stamp amount to make up for inflation.
I was still working, so
I was
So if you stay
And doing my real
unemployed
estate.
for 12 months straight
Mhm.
and you're getting a check,
Mhm.
that's 28 grand off a $15 an hour job for
but
5
they weren't
days a
paying you
week.
based on that. They were paying people based on the maximum amount.
right. That's to say, so the maximum amount of what?
Your camera's is
I
always,
know it's always jacking up. The maximum
been
amount of
good
what?
today.
They're hourly, right?
I forget what the dollar amount was, but I did it on a Facebook post on my page one time. And oh boy, the liberals come after me.
Of
They're
course
like,
they did.
oh my God, how dare you say that people who made more than they ever did in the past 2 years, wasted that money? Well, we're here now.
Yeah.
We're here now. The roosters have come back to roost, right? Or
Mhm.
chickens have
Chickens
come back to
come
roost.
back to
I in my opinion, I don't even think we've seen the worst yet.
No, not even close.
Oh, it's coming.
Not even close.
So what people don't even understand, I'm in the finance field. If you venture down the rabbit hole of what banks are doing right now, they're selling off their debt for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of their debt because they know that in 6 months, let's say, that debt is going to be worthless because they're not going to get their money. Because when a recession like this is going to hit, where it's going to be worse than 2007, 8, 9,
Yeah.
when it's going to be closer to
Depression?
1942, right? It's going to be bad. There's going to be a lot of people working, paycheck to paycheck right now. I think the last thing I saw was 40-something% of people making over $100,000 were also living paycheck to paycheck right now. It's just people were living well above their means, And so when we talk about, hey, just, get rid of everything and run away. Well, those who have a ton of debt, where are you going to run away to? Because you're going to have to answer that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you leave the country, never come back.
Unless they finally go through with the student loan.
Just think about
That
that.
So
right
what's up
off.
with the student loan thing? I got an email saying that mine was forgiven.
I hope that's not a scam.
No,
No,
I think you got one that said yours was approved for forgiveness.
Approved for forgiveness. Yes.
But it has not been forgiven because they're
No,
in
not
courts
yet.
right
Not
now.
yet. Yeah,
Right, right.
it's still showing.
Yeah, you're
But they
approved
said to
for
give it some
forgiveness.
time or something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yo,
I didn't know a lot anyway. So
yeah, but listen, think how much money the government has given out within the last 5 years, right? So for each person that got maybe between 20 and 25,000 of free money for just quitting their job for a full year, right? They got that. And on top of that, there's no telling that they could have been on social services. Social services is an average between 45,000 between all the stuff they get from cash for rent and also food stamps. So they're about 60 grand that they could have gotten so far. Free money. And then you add in school forgiveness for debt.
I'm sorry, that's what it was. It was $1,200 a week they were getting paid plus a $600 bonus. Remember, New York State
Yeah,
was getting
yeah.
a $600 bonus, so it's $1,800 a week. I
Oh
just remember
my
that.
To stay home.
1,800
To
a
stay
week?
home.
1,800 a week.
To stay
I'll
That's
do the
more.
math for you
That's
right
more than I was getting paid.
now. Times
Yo,
52. That's
yo, that's even worse than what I said. 7,200 a month
That's a good income.
times 12. That's $86,000 a year. Now, let me tell you. So when I was just in Minneapolis, right? And it's funny.
I heard it's a beautiful
Why would
city.
you
It's
do
a
that to yourself?
beautiful city. Beautiful city. Oh, it was brutal watching that game. Right. It was a great game, but
yeah. Someone just Jen Ardone just said that. Yep. $600 on top of it.
yeah, that shit is that's ridiculous. Check this out. I had every fucking Uber driver was either Somalian or it was most Somalian drivers and either Kenyan. They were from another country, right?
Okay.
Now I had there was two drivers that I thought had two opposing views on living here in America, right?
Okay.
This shit is funny. So the Somalian, we were talking about COVID and how everything, broke down, and we got to the point of how he, we got to part how he came over to the United States, how he loves the country, right? He loves the country because when COVID came, we didn't have to work. They say you come, we give you money, you don't have to work, you stay home, and the government give you everything. They pay you to stay home, and then you don't have to do this, do that, right? I'm like, and I'm just shaking my head, like, yeah, it was kind of crazy, like, just get me to the Mall America, bro. Like, you're crazy, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh wow, he doesn't get it.
Right.
He thought it was a great thing.
Mhm.
Then there's another guy from my last driver on the way to the airport to leave. He's from Cameroon. And so I asked, got to the point where he's from. And I was like, so how do you like living in the country? He's like, man, I don't know. He's like, I don't think people see it, but we're close to a dictatorship.
Mm.
You're talking about ending any cash, and you want to be a cashless society. Like he knew, he's like, I don't think people's paying attention to stuff that they're doing right now, especially like when they take the guns, like they did in Canada. He's like, I'm going back to my own country. Two different opinions. One guy was literally eating the cheese that the reason why they're there is because the government put all these immigrants there. They put them there for a reason. Then they gave them a politician. What's her name? Uma, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yo, I was like cringing because like, yo, he did not understand. It's like, yo, he was happy to come and take that money. While the other one, he was like, yo, fuck this. He's as soon as they get rid of the guns, as soon as they get rid of this, yo, I'm out, man. Like they see it.
That's crazy.
That right. It's crazy. But it's like the
I like
people who have
listening
that
to them, though.
mentality though,
Uh-huh.
that like they were brain. I was
talking
shocked
to
to
someone
see
who looks
that.
at something from outside the box. Getting
Yeah.
their view,
I was shocked
like
to
that.
see that the one guy though was like so happy to
Right.
take it was like free money.
Free money. Yeah. That's
you
crazy.
know? It's crazy.
Well, you said he was from Somalia, right?
Yeah.
Like they're literally in like a famine right now. So,
Oh,
like,
so you guys know he's
like
like,
government cheese tastes better than dirt.
but again,
I
that's
tell you
the
what, that
setup,
government cheese
though.
was legit though.
It was
government
dope.
cheese was
It was
legit.
I
dope.
didn't
As
eat
long
it.
as you
Yeah,
slice it.
I don't
You
eat
slice
that.
it right. You
Right.
slice it
Nope.
thin enough.
The powdered milk, the powdered eggs, the government
The
cheese.
cheese was the best.
Nope, never.
You
ever.
will never have a grilled cheese better than government cheese.
That's all right. So speaking of government cheese, we're gonna end it on this one. Play that conspiracy theory song real quick.
Yes, there it is.
I just want a yes, it's plausible, or no, I don't think so answer. This was brought up to me by someone I was talking to earlier today. So I think it's pretty clear, to me at least, that they are pushing pretty aggressively with the pedophilia thing, where Balenciaga can come out with their, kids thing, and it's just in your face at all times now. I feel as though it may not. I think Ricardo's making a face.
I
It may
have
not
no
be
clue
saying-
what the hell you're talking about, but go ahead.
That's probably a good thing. Do you think that they are pushing pedophilia to soften the blow of Epstein's list of perverts that is bound to be exposed?
Okay, fill me in real quick so I can have a educated opinion.
So Balenciaga, can you pull up some photos from Balenciaga
Like the
pedophilia?
Balenciaga, like
you
the-
actually know what? You
clothing
may
line?
not
Like-
want to search that.
Yeah,
what-
I'm not gonna put pedophile like stuff.
Yeah.
in my Google search.
Balenciaga controversial ads. There you
Yeah.
go.
So
Again, this is the clothing company.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they
okay.
did some recent photo shoots with kids, little kids. And you
Well,
got
you
to go
can
to
look at that
images or
top one
something.
already. Is that a feet look younger? Oh, that's
No, go to images. You might be able to see them
$195
there.
for that shirt. You're tripping.
So they're not
Just
even going to
put
show it anymore. Oh, right
controversy
there, right there.
ad.
No, right there. Is that little kid down to the third line? Yep.
Oh, there
The
you go.
third one in
There
the
you go.
middle.
Yep. Redoing with the
Or the one that was, yep.
description.
So they have these kids. See that kid over to the right? She's wearing a black shirt, whatever. But she's got a toy doll in S&M gear,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh,
Not only that, the white rabbit, which
wow.
I think people are kind of pushing with some of these things, but the white rabbit does mean something when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
pedophilia as well. You can look that up on your own.
Oh, does it?
Also,
Mhm.
red shoes.
I
Red
hear the word
shoes-
white
Mhm.
rabbit. I think of the Matrix movie. I'm sorry.
Right, me too. Red shoes also does do that. In one of the other photos, they had something with red shoes. In one of the other photos, they had just a piece of paper out of nowhere was sitting on a desk or on somewhere, and on the paper was the Supreme Court decision about child online pornography being legal or illegal, where it's like a animated version of it. Is that expression of
That was
art
on
or
an
is not?
ad.
It was a piece of paper that was on the desk in the Balenciaga photo shoot. So it was just randomly there, and it was on
What are they trying to accomplish with this ad? What is their focus?
I don't know.
How are they trying to tie in, consumers?
That's the main question.
That's the question. And so when they said, why would you have a teddy bear in bondage gear with a little kid, a little girl, and then you have a piece of paper that's randomly on the desk that has the results of a Supreme Court decision regarding child pornography case? Why would the photographer did that? The photographer came out and said, I had nothing to do with this. I took the photos. They put these kids in this position. They said that they wanted this, that, and the other. So it's on Balenciaga who put the photo shoot together.
I was a work for hire, in other words.
Right.
Okay.
I did the photography. They did the.
You know what I love about this though? I get to show my son, so I can get him to stop paying $600 for those damn shoes.
Oh,
He pays way too much for sneakers and those
hopefully,
shoes.
listen,
Well, if he buys Balenciaga, he better stop right now.
I
Yeah.
think just to answer the question,
Do you think
yes,
they are pushing pedophilia
absolutely,
to soften the
100%,
blow?
and
of
also think
Epstein's
they are.
list?
But why would they do that for Epstein? What's the connection?
Well, the first of all, the Epstein Charlotte's Web is huge, and Jose knows.
Oh, that I know too.
yeah,
right.
Jose knows how
But they
I've been on
refuse to
that.
provide the list of the names of
they
people
won't.
who were on
They won't,
Epstein
because
Island.
if you start with the number one connection, which is the owner of Victoria's Secret, right? Who was before Epstein was even incarcerated, the victims of Jeffrey Epstein already pointed him as an accomplice, and also his home is like a fortress that is like literally has been holding so many kids and victims, and they're like allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
They like kids and adults have gone to that place and not come out, right? So that has been an accusation that has been tied to Epstein for a while. But the guy from Victoria's Secret, the owner, he was number one. Balenciaga and what they're doing, and also the stuff that's probably been hidden in plain sight for us for years. This right here is just the boldest shit I've ever seen. And I mean, if a conspiracy theory could ever be true, this right here, and them getting caught and them reacting like, oh my God, they're fucking paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, for them to like retract it, where there's smoke, there's fire.
They didn't retract it.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I thought they came out and said we're reviewing what
Yep,
we did.
that's what they did. They didn't
Right.
say sorry.
They didn't say, no. They're just reviewing the
fired
situation.
person. No.
I want to meet the parents that would think that would be cute to buy the
They
kids that
probably
shit.
don't have. These kids are
These parents don't
fucking.
care.
They're probably slaves themselves, man. This operation has been going on for years. The United States, we're just now catching up to this shit. In the UK, the people, the citizens in the UK, they don't play. They're at the royal family's doorstep, calling them out on pedophilia and everything. Over there in Europe, period, within the Vatican. You know what I mean? Within the priest and all of the nasty shit they've been doing for decades. The Balenciaga thing, And the Jeffrey Epstein thing, that's these motherfuckers being bold, being careless.
Yeah.
Like they're like Tony Montana
They
right
got away
now.
with it so for so long that they just don't care anymore.
They don't
They
care
thought they were
They're protected.
untouchable.
because
protected. Because
Yeah.
even
I mean,
the,
when you got Bill Clinton coming out and hanging out on the island with you,
well with Kim
you think no one's
Kardashian,
gonna touch
the
you.
name of the airplane, the Lolita Express, like, bro, that's in your face, not giving a fuck.
and then Kim Kardashian, who was a spokesmodel
Mhm.
for Balenciaga, it took her like 8 days for her
Yeah.
to come out and say, we are taking a look at this and we're gonna, maybe revisit what
What
we're
more do you
seeing
need
here.
to see, bitch?
Right? There's
What
nothing.
more do you
There's
need to
nothing
see?
else you got to see.
Is she a
not
model
you
for
gotta
them or
see.
something?
They had images of kids
Instagram model,
covered
you know
in
how it is.
blood.
Yeah.
But
They
no,
had
she was on the
kids-
runway. Sorry, she was on the
They had
runway.
images of kids coming in the blood, covered in blood. They have one. They have the one lead designer. The one lead designer of Balenciaga has photos and images of like little small infants like covered in blood and like really looking creepy and freaky and shit. Like this underworld that they have, the disregard for young kids, the trafficking of these kids. This is modern day slavery. This is the same elites that have passed on the buck or passed on, the operation of slavery ever since everybody thought slavery was all about picking cotton back in 1865. It's not that shit anymore. They never ever stopped the system. This shit, slavery in India ended in 1940 something, right? Like, and also in Saudi Arabia, they allegedly ended in like the 80s or whatever. I don't know when they said, but the Saudis, the Muslims, they've been enslaving they're still going. They didn't stop
We have
no
more
one
slaves
stopped.
now than we did back
during that time.
They're just more systemic now.
Well, not even that. It's more people are so like
They're numb to it. That cell phone you have in your
Yes.
hand right there, that iPhone. you don't have an iPhone.
Distracted.
Good. You got an iPhone?
Oh, I got a Samsung.
Right. So we're all smart here. We don't have iPhones.
Like, what better way to distract people than to kind of
What's the difference?
keep
Why
them?
do you say that?
Because China right now is revolting against the lockdowns that their Chinese government is doing. So they literally locked Chinese workers in their employment.
Well, I saw videos of people getting locked in the buildings. Like,
Right. So
like-
that was happening at the Apple factory.
Mhm.
So they were locking the people up in the Apple factory, and people were like, "So
Yep.
Apple, you gonna speak up about this? You gonna say something?
I mean,
We're gonna have to just increase the price because our sales are
we
down,
got the new iPhone 27 coming out.
It comes
next
in
month.
green.
It's
If you have an iPhone, you know how elite they feel about their stupid iPhones.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but you
oh,
are
my kids shame me all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what do you
Well,
got? Oh my god,
you are okay with a government
got a
locking
droid?
people up in their employment, saying you can't come out because we have a zero COVID policy, and we're gonna pay you $1 per phone,
They know they can get away with it now, bro. They know.
not
they
per phone,
know
per hour.
from this right here,
Mhm.
this phone. They know how many people are fucking just don't care. They know. They know what they're distracted on. They know. So
Yep.
there's nothing that they don't think they can't get away with. Hell, look at Jeffrey Epstein. That was a trial. That's like, yo, we can get rid of this guy. We can go ahead, right? We can go ahead and do it. They won't care.
Yeah, I
They
don't
don't
think I don't think he committed suicide.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it's the same play that Ghislaine Maxwell daddy used. The same play. Oh, what's his name? Michael Maxwell, whatever Ghislaine Maxwell daddy name is.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he didn't come back from a boating trip. He committed suicide. He jumped
Right.
overboard.
Right.
But yeah, this is the man who was in charge of all of media in the UK, right? And former Mossad agent who also was blackmailing a bunch of political opponents,
Had a lot of access.
had a lot of access to kids, children. He was really good friends with Jimmy Savile, another known pedophile in UK, who was also great
I
friends
knew
with.
this wasn't going to turn into a yes or
But
no answer.
it was,
question.
you know, it wasn't. You know, it wasn't.
So what was the
but
question
these
again?
these people have always been, these people have been connected.
Yeah,
with
you're very informed. I'll tell you that because I don't even. You're half the names
Bro,
you said. I
this
don't
is-
even know who the hell they are.
This is
Right.
to me like, all right.
Do you think they're softening the blow for when they finally do come out?
Yeah,
with the
but
list?
I just think this is a form of slavery that if you are not for the freedom of all people, period, if you don't speak against it, then you are no better than those who are convicting that crime. If you turn a blind eye,
Right.
if you think it doesn't happen, this is biblical shit, right? So if you just ignore it, or even if you're ignorant to it and you still act as though that you don't know about it, then that's a problem. And these people, these elites, these people have been the same colonizers are the ones that are still being connected to slavery.
If you want to talk about, okay, that's all media stuff, right? It's all propaganda, media. I believe that we lost that battle a long time ago. If you think about the message that was given on television many, many years ago when TV came out, no cursing, you couldn't say damn. There's a lot of things you couldn't say. I remember one of the biggest things was when William Shatner kissed Uhura, the black actress.
The
You know what I'm
black
saying?
alien.
Yeah, yeah. And like it was the biggest talk, like it was the biggest issue because a white man kissed a black woman on TV. That was like a big thing, a big crossover in television. Today, they're cursing up a storm, damn near showing everything on TV. These kids are absorbing like sponges this information that's coming across the television, and it's getting more and more X-rated by the day.
Absolutely.
So
Desensitizing.
yeah, it's all desensitizing. So I think this is all becoming a norm, and I think what's really going on right here, I mean, everybody's being poisoned from a very, very early age.
Yeah.
From a very, very early age, and it's been happening for a very, very long time. It's all systemic.
These people are openly marketing the fact that, yo, we got a shipment of kids. Look at this ad. You know, like, bro, this is in plain sight.
Yeah.
Look at this ad. This is what we have.
Right.
Come and get it.
And this is what we're gonna do right in front
And this is
of
what we're
you,
gonna do.
And you're not gonna
There's-
do anything about it.
There's a country
Did
over.
you look into the sales to see if there's any sales on this? Is this
I don't,
really
I mean,
selling?
who knows?
This is crazy.
I
But
don't think it's
the-
stopping. It's not stopping.
Remember
Wow.
the actress? Remember the actress that just died recently? She was in a car accident, and they said that she was drugged up. She'd had an autopsy, and they found out that she was not drugged.
Anne Hedge?
Yes,
Yeah,
her autopsy came back. She was no drugs in her system.
No.
Come to find out, the same woman that got shot on the set with
Alec
Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, she was working on a documentary about the pedophile ring that's going on within Hollywood. Both of them killed, ironically, around the same time.
You gotta be kidding me.
One gun discharged, the other actress who, and you can look back at her, she was vocal about the pedophile ring, and she was Ellen's ex-wife, and Ellen was also implicated and also one of the names in the Jeffrey Epstein situation.
Allegedly.
So allegedly, right.
Allegedly.
Right. So Hollywood is sick.
So wait, the lady that was accidentally shot by Alec Baldwin was used to be married to Anne Hedge.
No.
Wrong one.
She was a producer. She's a producer. She's an executive producer that was working on a pedophile documentary that was going to expose Hollywood and its connections to pedophilia and human trafficking.
And what did Anne Hedge have to do with that?
And
She
Hedge,
was involved with it.
she was involved with it. She was working on it with the producer. So the producer gets shot first on set with Alec Baldwin.
Oh, so Anne Hedge was going to be part of it.
she was going to be exposing it.
Okay.
And Anne Hesh was the former ex-wife of Ellen, which that could have been the reason why she's no longer fucking with Ellen because of whatever she, allegedly saw. But again, her car mysteriously just crashes into a burning inferno, and the overall
And her body
report,
pops up.
her body, they're transporting her into the ambulance.
Firemen are transporting her
yeah.
into the ambulance, which they're not allowed to do.
Yes. On video, on camera, you see her pop up and then the newscast like, oh my God, she just pops up, just rolls up, right?
What?
Yeah,
Bro,
oh, man.
it's insane. It's insane. But Anne Hesh, though, she loses control of her car and boom, she dies in an accident. Paul Walker, also same situation. He was speaking out about pedophilia, right? Celebrities speaking about pedophilia. He too, car crashes, right? BMW, another
I thought it was a Porsche. No, I think
Porsche or whatever it
It could
was.
have been a BMW. I forget.
Whatever, this shit just crashes into whatever. Former singer of Linkin Park, he too big on pedophilia. He dies
Well,
mysteriously.
he also had mental health illness.
He does, but again, apparent suicide, whatever. But anyway, these people within Hollywood have this platform that are raising awareness of these issues. Some way, somehow, mysteriously dies. But then the one person who's connected with hundreds of celebrities, and political leaders, right, gets bagged, has a list, a black book that the elite is hoping to God no one finds. You know what I mean?
And the FBI raided his home and took the files from
Who's
the
this guy?
videos.
Epstein.
Epstein.
Oh, Epstein.
Jeffrey
Okay.
Yeah, they took and yo, if you go back to that video, all FBI agents, every FBI agent, it was just during COVID, they were all wearing masks.
Right.
You couldn't see no one's faces. They came out
So
with
every camera
garbage
footage,
bags of DVDs, tapes, recordings of Epstein
Mhm.
parties in
Hard
New York,
drives,
hard drives, New
We
York
recorded
City,
everything in the house.
Florida.
and they just walked away with it, and not a single.
So how do you
Nothing.
think that documentary that they did on Netflix was able to come out?
It was
And
watered
I'm sure
it was
down.
watered down
It was
like hell.
watered
Yeah, it
down
was
enough.
watered down.
I just watched the Who is Ghislaine Maxwell
I watched that
documents.
as
That
well.
was watered down also. They tried to make it seem like she was like this freaking, I don't know, like this figure, had no control. She was
mesmerized
she was
by-
mesmerized by
Yeah.
Epstein. She's a
You're talking
victim
about the lady that
too.
just got sentenced, right?
Yeah,
Ghislaine,
but
yeah,
they did
Ghislaine
not.
Maxwell.
They did not talk about her father being the same thing as Epstein. He literally just handed the keys over to Jeffrey. He literally did. Like, if you look into her father was the same. He was Jeffrey Epstein before Jeffrey Epstein, bro. Like, think about it. If you want political power, number one, you want to control the media, which he did. Then you want to control the politicians, which they did. And the way you control the politician, if you can't do it by money, you do it by
Extortion.
sex, extortion, blackmail. You find their weakness.
Mhm.
You seen House of Cards? Same shit.
I love that show.
I do too.
It's a good show.
Well, when Patrick, when what the hell's his name? Kevin Spacey,
Mm-hmm.
when he messed up with that one kid or whatever it was, and they took him off the show. Like,
It
this
was a
show's-
kid. That was a
It
kid.
was
and
a
all
kid.
that-
I know, but
and
I'm
what'd
like,
he do?
dude,
But he's
come
part
on.
of Hollywood.
You
He's part of
messed
Hollywood,
it
right.
all up for my show. 'cause
He's
the show
on the
was
list.
whack
He'll
after
be
that.
back.
He's on the list.
He's back just
Yeah.
fine. He came into some other movie. I was like, oh dang, he's been gone for a while. And
Oh,
I
he
forget what it
started. He
was.
started acting again.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but it was like a.
How do you support that? Dude?
He went nuts for a while. Do you remember when he like
Yeah.
So did Mel Gibson.
he made a couple like YouTube videos in character as his like
Yeah.
House
Well,
of
that was
Cards character, but like he was just doing it himself, and it was real weird and creepy.
that was him subliminally talking about a situation. He was trying to like really like push back because this was earlier on when he was trying to put him down his lies, and
Well, he was probably getting into Satanism at that point.
he probably was.
Part of the ass group,
Could've
Hey,
been.
you know,
after school Satanism.
Right.
class.
with all this desensitization going on, kids
Right.
really need the after school clubs. You know,
They do.
keep
Yeah, of
them
course.
Absolutely.
give
Of
them
course.
something
I agree.
to
Well,
do.
Rick, I appreciate you coming out.
This was not exactly what I thought I was going to get into today.
You ain't yo. We
I
get
think
it
it ever
in,
is.
man.
I think it's
No.
funny that.
Well, I was in Charlotte because I had to stop at a friend's house. She wanted me to look at some construction she wants me to do for
Yo,
her.
Jose. Austin cleaned up we can say what's up to our folks, right? Like,
oh, yep. Oh, the crazy guy was back on.
yeah, he's gone.
So you got a stalker around here or something?
yeah, he's a sucker. That's when you know you made it, man. That's when you know you made
Hey,
it.
if you don't, you know what they say. If you don't like what you're reading or watching, change the damn channel.
The best I look.
Change
What did I
the
look like
channel.
before?
Change the channel.
Billy stopped dominating the conversation. Billy didn't talk at all.
He did. Yeah, right. You're right. Thank
Yeah.
y'all for checking us out, man. Y'all
FBA
dope.
This
is
is
a
an
joke.
We already know. We always got to give Jen a shout out.
Sponsored by
Jen.
Balenciaga. That was good,
Jen
Kevin.
stays coming with the takes and helping us out with the facts.
Yeah, I'm down to come back. Invite me anytime, man.
Oh, I need
This
a
is
I need a
pretty cool.
screenshot of those comments because that
Yeah,
I'm building the
you know what you're
The
doing. You
lawsuit,
good?
yeah.
You good?
Oh,
you
yeah.
ain't got to done. You ain't got to do none of that.
you ain't gotta
You ain't even got to do none of that, bro.
Mhm.
Let that be. You feel me?
Whatever.
Yep.
If you're not if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right.
You're not doing nothing right, man. You succeeding. You should give yourself a pat on the back. Remember that wrestler?
You can't
To
put
pat himself on the back.
Yeah, and then he had a t-shirt with a hand on the back.
Yeah, he lost every match.
Yeah, he did. He sucks. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
That was
What's his name?
I know that.
Come on,
guy.
Austin. You gotta know his name.
I
You
used to
gotta know
watch
his name.
wrestling.
Pat himself on the back all the time.
Was it the guy with big hair?
Yeah, long curly hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Steve something Stromboli or what
Steve
was-
Stromboli.
I forget his name. He was a jobber.
Yeah,
he was beating him up every
lost.
week.
As soon as he got in the ring.
Yeah, he would pat himself on the back all the time.
Hold on, I'm about to look that up.
While you're doing that, make sure you stop by to Taste Bahamas this Saturday from 3 to 5 with gifts to donate to young kids. Please, we're doing a toy drive for kids in need. There's a lot of kids in need this winter, so please Stop by, Taste Bahamas in Shalat. Just Google it. Everyone always asks me what's the address. Just Google it. Just Google it. You'll
Everybody
figure
got a
out.
damn smartphone.
Right. I haven't had John Leguizamo or Kanye West ask me the directions on how to get here, but I'm still waiting for them to come on.
Barry Horowitz.
I would love
was the
John.
wrestler.
I would like to have a conversation with John Leguizamo. That would be cool.
I would too, because he did that Latino thing, and I was
Kan-
like, "That's amazing." And
Oh
then
yeah, that was dope.
then he
but
turned into like the super left
Kanye.
guy.
To be honest with you, Kanye, I think I'll be on the other side of that wall. Just I want to be out of the line of fire for that one.
I wanna speak to him, and be like, "Dude, come on, man! Like I'm with you, but you're making it hard to be a Kanye fan."
It's so hard to support
Like
you, man.
the messed up thing is we even said it out loud last week that we're like, oh, no matter what, we support him, blah blah. And then like he came out with the
Hitler comments?
Hitler thing. I'm
What
like,
did he
dude,
say? Now, I heard something, but I didn't really read into
You're gonna have to
it.
look it up. We're not getting into another conversation
Oh.
here.
Very good, because you know how we start.
Right. We'll hold a whole nother freaking conversation.
We'll be right back.
And then
at
Austin's
it.
girlhaving get pissed at us even more.
Oh, dang.
Well,
Oh,
thanks
yeah,
for having
she's
me on the
coming
show,
for
man.
Nice.
Thank-
Absolutely.
glad
Thanks
you
for coming
came,
on.
man.
And Austin,
Play that funky
be sucker free
Deuce, pickle juice.
in a world full of lollipops. Play that funky music.
Play that